everybody and welcome to the United Stand. We are live. We are live for the Manchester United versus Fulham game, and you know what? I think Manchester United are going to win today. I know there's a lot of people still very frustrated about who the manager of Manchester United is, but the reality is we are Manchester United fans, and I just feel that I am getting tired of the Mourinho stuff now. There's nothing we can do as football fans that are going to stop this unless everybody decides not to turn up at Old Trafford today, and I can already tell your flex is there. So we failed. So we are here today with a game against Manchester, with a game against Fulham. I mean, the interesting thing for me is that when we look at the below me, where you see Manchester United and Fulham, we do put up the last 5 games in the Premier League for both teams, and there's not a lot of W's there. You know, we've got 4 D's, we've got 4 L's, and we've got 2 W's. So, neither team winning many games. Obviously, you'd expect that from Fulham because they're bottom of the league, but Manchester United certainly do need a win today. And as I said before, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter who... Quick swig of tea. It doesn't really matter whether you're Mourinho in or Mourinho out. Manchester United should be beating bottom of the league today, and I fully expect us to do that. Now, the team news should be coming in any minute. Apparently, Fellaini is part of the squad. Lots of people didn't think he was going to be, so I've put him in my starting 11, predicted. I'll have to change that in a minute because I never get it right. But Martial and they not expected to be part of it. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, a lot of people going for Fulham win today. I think you're underestimating... Yes, Archie, I have gone for the Harry Potter look. My eyes are really tired. I was up late last night watching a really good thing on Netflix about Bobby Robson. I thought it was only going to be an hour documentary. It wasn't. It went on for ages. 2 hours. But to be honest with you, very interesting if you want to watch it, because Mourinho's in it a lot. But here is the team news. De Gea, Dalot, Jones, Smalling. So I've got the first 4 right. Ashley Young comes in. No Paul Pogba. Lukaku. So the midfield is Herrera, Matic and Mata. Lingard, Rashford and Lukaku. A little bit of a shame that Lukaku is... Rashford's going to have to go out to the left wing. And on the bench you've got Romero, Rojo, Shaw, Fellaini, Fred, McTominay and Pogba. Eric, I've got no issues with Martial and Bay not being involved in this game. Bay is just coming back from injury, so it's not worth risking him when we've got Liverpool on the horizon. And the same with Anthony Martial, it's not worth risking him. So I don't really have a massive problem with that. I think Fellaini is essential to Jose Mourinho, and I think that is probably why he's on the bench, because he needs that option in the last 10 minutes if we're not scoring goals. But it's a bit of it is a bit of a mismatch of a team. I would have... Obviously, I've said so many times I would pick Paul Pogba, but Mourinho is sticking to his guns. Red Baron has made a contribution. Thank you for that. You can do that through the $ at the bottom. The board are waiting until the end of season for Pochettino now, but we should get rid of him and let Carrick or someone else be in charge. Jones says Stephen Diak, bloody hell. I've got to say the team is shocking. I've more or less got it right, I've more or less got it right. I've only got to change a couple of players, so I'm pretty pleased about that. Ashley Young is the left back, not Luke Shaw. I've got none of the midfield right, but I did get Matic right, obviously. Matic, the undroppable player. And who else has he got playing? He's got Lingard, hasn't he? So I've only got 3 players wrong, which isn't bad when predicting a United lineup at the moment. It's I'm pretty pleased with that. On a personal level, I'm pretty pleased with that. But I feel quite chilled out today. Christmas is coming, and we are playing bottom of the league today. Take this with a pinch of salt. It's total sarcasm, but Liverpool have done us a favour. They're beating Bournemouth 2-0, which means if we win or draw, we'll go above Bournemouth. So we could be up to 6th tonight. 6th place, people. Merry Christmas. And, United... I cannot even begin to think how I would feel if we don't win this game today. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It would really be stunning if we didn't win it. So I fully expect a Manchester United win today. And I'm sure most of you do. I know there's a bit of negativity out there. I know a lot of you very cleverly are saying things such as... Stephen Willocks is saying, thanks for the contribution, Stephen. He's saying, where on earth is Pereira? He's definitely leaving. Well, Andres Pereira needs to get himself out of Manchester United. You're right, 100%. Definitely needs to be doing that ASAP. Let me just pull this down here, and then you've got your correct team lineup. See how we can do this for you live. I predict it, and then I just change it. And let me just make sure that's right. So, yeah, that's that. Oh, God. Why have I got Lingard in twice? What's going on there? Lingard. Why have I played Lingard twice? It's not bloody... I'm annoyed with myself there. We can't play 2 Jesse Lingards. Who have I missed out? Bloody Herrera. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, where on earth is Andreas Pereira? He's not part of the team. Mo Salah's got a hat-trick for Liverpool against Bournemouth. Although they're saying it's a Cook own goal. But look, United have got to win today. There's no escaping that fact. And you know what? When we do win today, I'll be very happy. Might even be able to watch Match of the Day a little bit later. But it's bottom of the league. And I was talking to Flex on his way up to the game today. He was driving up from London in the terrible rain. This is what United fans are doing, driving across the country to watch this. But we were talking about it, and I said, look, at the end of the day, even if we win today, it doesn't make any difference to what people's stance is about the way where the club's going. But what it does do is it gives us a bit of an opportunity to just have a little bit of positivity around Manchester United, because at the moment we don't have that. We don't have that positivity, and also there are levels of shitness. Really, excuse my French, but there are levels of shitness, and I think United probably next Sunday, in all honesty, are probably going to get their arses handed on a plate against Liverpool because they are streets ahead of us. But today we are playing bottom of the league championship side, and I totally and utterly expect us to be able to overcome a team like that. It doesn't mean we've turned a corner. It doesn't mean we've turned a page. It just means we've got 3 points that we absolutely, desperately need to get. That's what today will mean. So, and I fully expect us to get it. I do not see how, and I know I have seen teams like Derby County come here and win. So, never say never. But I do not see how a team like Fulham can come to Manchester United and beat us. Although, having said that, I think we're a worse team without Pogba. I'm probably one of the few Man United fans who thinks that, but I think we are a worse team without Paul Pogba. Right, you have now got the correct Manchester United lineup to your left, so clap me, clap yourselves, clappy days. The substitutes bench, for those who are inquiring about that, I can tell you is Romero, Marcus Rojo, Luke Shaw, Marouane Fellaini, Fred, McTominay and Pogba. So no real attackers on there. We've got no attacking change other than Fellaini to a certain extent. But the starting lineup for Fulham, if you're interested in that, Rico is in goal. Oddy, Mawson, Ream, Bryan. That's their back four. Yes, crap. Schürrle's playing. Seri's playing. Andre Frank Anguissa is playing. Sessegnon is playing. Kearney is playing and Mitrovic is playing, which, to be honest with you, I'm quite happy about. I mean, we should beat them anyway, but I actually quite rate Kamara and Vieto, who are on their bench for them. So they're probably going for a little bit more graft, like Jose Mourinho predicted they would. Yes, there we go. Andrew Rossi has made a contribution. He says, Jose convinces Pereira not to go on loan and we'll probably sell him in January. Shaking my head. I think we will see Andreas Pereira playing against Valencia on Wednesday night. Obviously, he was on loan at Valencia last season, so I do think we will see that on Wednesday night, Pereira. So, I wouldn't start moaning too much because I pretty much guarantee we will see him playing in that game. But you know what? I think United are going to win today. And I know I say that a lot, but I really, really do. Why is Bay out again with his stupid idiot? What is this stupid idiot doing, says Mayank. Look, I said last night, I think Eric Bailly was always going to miss this game because through injury. So he only played a couple of days ago. We need him for bigger games. So I think that's the case with that. There are some weaknesses in this team. And when you look at it there, you've got Smalling and Jones at centre-back. They worry me a little bit. I don't think Ashley Young's the best left-back in the world, to be honest. And Dalot, I think he'll get there, but he has got a couple of mistakes in with him because he's youth. Matic obviously worries me. Herrera and Lingard, I think, give us a lot of energy, and I think that is a positive. And then you've got Mata, Lukaku and Rashford, which, I'd be much more comfortable if we had Martial, but hopefully Rashford. and Mata can create some chances for Lukaku. You cannot guarantee anything, Andy McGow. And Spazmold says, it's a great question this from Spazmold. He says, what do you actually think of the team, Mark? Because you're skirting the issue a bit. I think that team isn't quite as good as it could be. I think that today would have been a perfect opportunity to play Paul Pogba. And I think that is something that annoys me. Uh, 100%. But I also know that Jose Mourinho's Manchester United approach is very different to mine and very different to a lot of you. He doesn't do the things that we would like to do. I mean, I do not understand why Nemanja Matic consistently gets picked for Manchester United, but there you go. Anyway, I want to go through some of your questions. I mean, Liverpool are smashing Bournemouth 4-0, which is massively, massively impressive. And you know what? I have to admit it is. I mean, Salah hat-trick is stunning. Absolutely stunning. And, we went to Bournemouth and needed a last-minute winner. So it's... we are where we are. I think, as I say, I know that we want to be somewhere else. Some of us want different managers, but we can only do with what's in front of us. And today we play Fulham and we have to win it. But as I said, I'm sure if we win today, there will be some very glass full people saying, well, you know what, it's something to build on, it's really good. But you know what, when you are watching Match of the Day, you're going to watch Liverpool beat somebody who are actually above us in the league at the moment. I don't know whether they are for goal difference now. But we have to... It's... it is what it is. It is what it is. And I can't get very excited about United at the moment. I've got to be honest with you. I cannot get very excited about it because it's a mess at United. But I choose to just try and keep it on the download and hope that we win this game today. We are currently a bit of a joke, a bit of an embarrassment, and accepting that is part of the dealing with the process, isn't it? But look, if we can't win today, we're in a massive amount of trouble. And I really, really hope that we can win it. Matic must put Jose up against the wall by the neck at training, says Prince Fresh. Not surprised Liverpool's high press is beating Bournemouth, says Aaron Lafond. Well, yeah, I think, I do look at United and I think that if we played like we did against Arsenal in the first 10 minutes, all right, you're probably not going to beat Arsenal, but you're certainly going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems. The problem with United is, Mourinho speaks about this high press against Arsenal, and it worked well against Arsenal for the first 10 minutes, but then we didn't do it. And do you know why we didn't do it? Because we're not fit enough to do it. We cover the least amount of distance in the Premier League. We're in the bottom 5 for it. We haven't got the players or the energy or the fitness to stretch teams like everybody else does. So I think today a lot of people were saying, well, let's play a 3-5-2. But I don't believe a 3-5-2 was the right way to play today because we're playing against bottom of the league. You've got to go 4-3-3. You've got to go on the front foot. I really do believe that. I hope Mata plays well, says Rioth. You see, I look at that team today and I think there are too many players that actually give a damn about the shirt and play quite consistently well. When you look about Herrera, Lingard, Mata, Rashford, that's 4 players in 4 attacking positions who pretty much guarantee at least a 7 out of 10 performance. And that should be enough to get us home. Lukaku might need 1 chance, he might need 10 chance. But, I mean, Red Devil Weekly says that pundits are saying that if Jose could go after the game, if we lose thoughts. I mean, I'm happy to play or maybe if you want to play it. I really want to get into some of your comments, actually, because I haven't got Ross with me today to talk about the team news. So, Anders says 4-3-3 is the way to go. I agree. Why haven't you got United top on and your polo neck? To be honest with you, I'm not in that mood. I'm not in that mood at the moment. I don't feel massively in love with United at the moment. In relation to the current situation, obviously I'm massively in love with the club. It's my club, but I'm not massively inspired by them. I couldn't be asked to put my United top. I thought I'm just going to relax. I'm going to wear the jumper I've been wearing all day, and I'm just going to watch United, and hopefully we can get a win. I was actually meant to be going to this game today because it's a 3:00 game on a Saturday, and we don't get it on the telly here. So I've got Daniel joining me just before 3:00 from America because they get it on the telly over there, I was going to go to this game, but I was like, no, I'm not. There's something going on tonight, family member, and I thought, I'm not doing it. And also Marcus is ill, so he couldn't cover me. But Rance has got a season ticket for United. He didn't go to the Arsenal game. He's certainly not going today. He didn't go the last home game as well. In fact, he said, I'm not going to a United game until they sack Mourinho, which is very stubborn of him, but there is that sort of lethargy around United at the moment today. Do I think Jose Mourinho would be sacked if we lost today? I think he'd have to go. Ashish, I wouldn't say I'm depressed. I think there are a lot of United fans who are depressed, and I don't think winning today won't change my opinion. I think no matter how bad you are, United are not relegation bad. We're playing a relegation team at home. Manchester United, for however bad people want to say we should never be going lower than mid-table. So, relegation team, bottom of the league at home. As I said before, there are levels of shitness, and we should be winning this game. And even if we win it 4 or 5-0, bottom of the league, that's who it is. It's not Bournemouth, is it? It's not Everton away at home. This is Fulham. Would I still want Eddie Howe as manager, says Dishay Shahal? Look, all right. Liverpool have beaten Bournemouth 4-0. I think that's the score, isn't it? Could go to 5. It's 4-0 at the moment. But the situation with that, for me, is that Eddie Howe plays in front of 11,000 people and probably has next to no budget. If you want Eddie Howe, stand by him. Just because he's lost one game, that's the definition of a flip flop. People often ask me what's a flip flop, and it's somebody who changes their opinion result to result. If Eddie Howe went and beat City in a couple of weeks, people would want him again. That's flip flopping. Have some consistency. If you think Eddie Howe's the right man for Manchester United, maybe stick behind him. Because personally, I don't want him at United. I think the job's too big. I think he'd get bullied by the players and by the manager. And I don't mean in a horrible bullied way. I just think the job would be too big for him. So I've never wanted Eddie Howe. But I would, if you did want Eddie Howe, I wouldn't change your mind just because he's lost 4-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool are going to be, as hard as it is for me to say this, Liverpool are going to be going for the title this season. And, there has to be an acceptance of that. That is what is going to happen. They could well be top of the league tonight if City don't beat Chelsea, which is a very, very big game for them. So, I have a theory that if you want Eddie Howe, stick with Eddie Howe. But Laurent Blanc's the one I want, Anders. I agree with you there. A lot of the goals were individual errors, says Espen. I mean, I didn't watch it because I was setting up for this. What's with the specs, Mark, says Dylan Edwards. I'm tired. These are Mourinho glasses. I'm tired of Jason. No, my eyes are very tired today. I was up late watching the Bobby Robson film on Netflix. And I'm watching tonight the BT Sports documentary film about Too Good to Go Down, which is about United. But I always stay late, very late around this time of year because there's lots of good stuff on telly. City will beat Chelsea, says Ben France. I think they will do. I think City will win the league, but it's a very interesting title race, isn't it? I know Fulham are championship level, but remember that Derby beat us, says Photo Teo. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible for Fulham to get a result against us today. I just think that Mourinho has finally hit on something that he should have been doing for 3 months. And I said it on the press conference reaction yesterday. If you put someone like Ander Herrera in the midfield and Lingard in the midfield, and then you've got Rashford in the attack and Mata in the attack, you've got 4 players there who will just keep going and going and going. There is no Fellaini, there is no McTominay, there is no Paul Pogba, with all due respect. Players that aren't very good at pressing and moving the ball very quickly. So that's really important. But then you flip it on the other way if you're Fulham and you go, you know what, on the break, they've got Matic, they've got Phil Jones, they've got Ashley Young, they've got a young lad at right back. There might be opportunities for us there. But I think United will just have too much. And I know this sounds like the stupidest comment ever. And if we lose, I guarantee this is going to go viral. But here goes. I believe Manchester United have got too much quality for Fulham today and that we will win this game comfortably. Despite the bad start to the season we've had, I do believe that we have the quality to beat Fulham. I don't think they're a very good team. And I don't. And that's the truth. I think, yeah, it's laughable in some ways to say United have got the quality to beat Fulham, but I genuinely think that we will. And Mark Wilkins is right. We've got a few mad dogs out on the pitch today. But I haven't seen about the link of Marquinhos to United Winter, but he's a player that I've spoken about before that I do like. So, let's see what happens. Do you think we will concede today, says Ivan? No, I actually think we might win 2-0. I think we might win 2 or 3-0. Dare I say even 4. Sherath Kamath Fitness says he's happy to see Dalot starting again. Yes. I'm happy about that. I felt that he needed to play today because playing him against Valencia midweek would have meant that he wouldn't play against Liverpool. I think players that are playing today should be playing against Liverpool. Luke Shaw worries me a little bit, but I think he might be carrying a bit of a knock. I do not want to see Ashley Young as our left back for the Liverpool game. I know that there are there is the sort of feeling that maybe he will play Ashley Young because he pockets Salah, but I think there's a bit of luck about that. I don't think that's the way to go for me. I would like to see Luke Shaw playing, and I would like to see Dalot playing at right back as well. I think the manager at the moment is Jose Mourinho. We all know that, and I do believe that he's got to continue to try and while he's here, I don't back Jose Mourinho because I don't want him to be here. But while he's here and he does things that I agree with, I have to say I agree with it. I do agree that Dalot should be playing at right back. I do agree that Herrera should be in the midfield. I do agree that Lingard should be in the midfield, having watched him for the last few weeks. So I'm not going to put up obstacles for Jose Mourinho just because I don't want him to be at the club. There are things about that team today that I like, and I liked them things against Arsenal, and I will be positive about those things. Ultimately, a lot of people say to me, could you ever be Jose Mourinho in? Well, I'll throw that back to you. A lot of you are Mourinho out. What would it take, and I'll read some of these comments out, what would it take for you to be Jose Mourinho in? I mean, BK Huskies has made a good comment. He says, I read an article that said Jose's changed style of play is bad for Pogba. I disagree. I haven't read that article, but I suppose guessing what it might be, I think that article might be something to do with the fact that United are playing a high press and it doesn't suit Paul Pogba. But I personally think that Paul Pogba in a team that creates chances and wants to play on the front foot will be happy. I think Pogba can get into our team. I do, and I think he will work his way back. And I don't disagree with what Mourinho's doing from Mourinho's point of view in relation to Paul Pogba. He had to drop him. He did drop him. And did he do enough on Wednesday night to start tonight? Probably not. So Mourinho's handling of Paul Pogba is consistent in relation to how he's treating Paul Pogba. Would I treat Paul Pogba like that? No. The way I manage people is I would be in with Pogba and I would be talking to Pogba and I would be saying, come on, Paul, this is Manchester United. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world. You've been here since a youth. Yes, you went to Juventus. You've just won a World Cup. You can be the biggest footballer in the world, the best midfielder in the world. How do we get the best out of you? But I don't think Mourinho has that personality. I think Mourinho is like, I'm not talking to him. He's got this great opportunity. Sort it out yourself. It's all about man management with people like Paul Pogba. Wouldn't be surprised if we park the bus today, says Manic SJ. Thanks for the contribution. Remember, you can do that through the $sign at the bottom. And Red Baron says, if he changed his style of play for United, which will never happen, remember when Fergie said, you entertain the working fans. Yeah. Look, Liverpool have won 4-0. Lucas says, what if we lose, Mark? If we lose, he has to go. But that sentence doesn't make any sense because we are. I'm going to come to that in a moment, Adve, about Mourinho's comments about spending. He should already be gone anyway. So losing today, drawing today, just makes me say, well, he should already be gone anyway. I've got no idea what it takes for United to sack Mourinho. If we lose to Fulham, does he get the sack? I don't know. I think he already should do. But yeah, just going back, a lot of people are saying, well, what would it take for you to like Mourinho again? There's a lot about Jose Mourinho I really like, and a lot of people don't get that because I want him to be sacked. But I want him to be sacked in a total Manchester United fan way because it's what's best for Manchester United. But I totally and utterly agree, it's not a nice thing to wish the sack on another human being. It isn't. But I have to do what's best for Manchester United. And I watch Manchester United every single game. And, you know, we do the Manchester United fan channel, we have the call-ins. And it matters. You know, it's not like, a game of bloody pass against the wall with no one watching and no one cares. This is Manchester United Football Club. It's steeped in history. It's had tragedy. It's had great, great highs. It matters. We cannot sit back and just be lackadaisical because we don't want to offend somebody's feelings. He needs to be sacked in my mind. And I don't like saying it, but he does. What would it take for me to get back to being Mourinho in? I don't think it can happen this season, to be honest, because we can't win the title this year. We can't win the Champions League this year. So for me to be Mourinho in again, I think you're talking about a year's time. And we would have to massively improve and consistently improve the way we play football, massively improve and consistently improve our starting 11, and, be playing good football and fighting for the title this time next year. And then if it's a year's job for me. And can you give Mourinho a year? I think it's impossible. I had somebody said to me the week before last, actually, they said, if Mourinho can get us to around top 4 by February, I'll be Mourinho in. And I was like, but what about the style of play? What about the clientele? I don't care, it's just about top 4. And I said, I don't actually think that will make you be Mourinho in. I think that's more about you want United to get top 4 at any means, but I don't think you'll be happy with it. Michael Van Gerwen says, I don't think I'll ever be Jose in again because no matter how the house that he build, he could start knocking it down at any moment. Love the show. Yeah, there is an element of trust there. I mean, just interestingly, it's always good to talk about what Jose Mourinho has actually said. He actually has said that with regard to financial fair play, he was basically saying, more or less saying in his press conference in the embargoed bit that came out 10:30 last night, he's more or less saying that we can't compete with teams' spending power, and not just Man City. He's talking about like Liverpool and stuff like that. And again, I don't know what's going on at Manchester United. Maybe Mourinho knows more than we do, but we pull in more revenue than anybody. So why are we not spending that money? We're not Bournemouth, we're not Stoke, we're not Everton. We have massive revenue. If Jose Mourinho is saying, we're being outspent, it's a hard job, then what's going on at our club? But the flip side of that coin is Eddie Howe's got no money and he's still got Bournemouth with way less quality players in the same position as we are. We're underachieving with the players that we've got. So, yeah. But, in relation to the team, that is the team on my left there. Right, let's have a look what people are talking about. We've had another contribution come in here from Red Baron. He says, he doesn't have any feelings. Stop being soft, Mark. He's a manipulative, narcissistic person. He wouldn't care about you. He only cares about himself. We should care about the club, plus their fans. Well, thanks for that contribution, Red Baron. I mean, you know what, though? I don't judge my life on what other people think. Maybe Mourinho wouldn't give a shit if I got the sack. Maybe he is totally up his own arse, but it doesn't mean I have to be like that. Contrary to what people think, and contrary to what people put out on social media about me being a Forest fan, a fake fan, everything else, I'm probably the most genuine person you'll ever meet. And I'm also very, 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 very trustworthy and empathetic. I do care. We did the 24-hour stream last year, and I know people do those streams, but I did it myself in front of camera for 24 hours and raised money for something that was really, really important. If I saw a Liverpool fan on the street, I would give him a tenner because I want to help people, and I believe in that. There will be a part of me, if Jose Mourinho ever gets the sack, that feels sorry for him, but that's me. If you're like that and you're like, sod him, I can't argue with that, but I can't help who I am. I do want him to be sacked, though. I do. Ben Murray says, I want to feel positive about the game, but I honestly think we will lose. No Martial, Pogba, Fred, Shaw, Pereira in our starting 11 where they belong, and he's playing Jones, Matic and Young. I still think we'll have enough quality, Ben. I still think we'll have enough quality. You can enjoy your mulled wine tonight and your mince pie. I think we'll be all right. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, there's a little emblem, or you can do it through the link in the video description. And please do smash a like on the video. We like to get 1,000 likes before kickoff. The way it's going to run today is a few people asking about this. We are going to have my match reaction straight after the game. Obviously, we're going to be live all the way till full time. We've got my match reaction, and then after that, I normally listen to Mourinho's press conference. Around 5:30, we'll be doing the call-in through Discord. So you can all call in and have your say. I know there's a lot you want to talk about. So that's the evening ahead. And then we've got the fan cams as well. Flex is at the ground. Brendao says, why don't we play Pogba as a number 10 like when he was at Juventus? If Pogba goes to any other club, he'll be one of the best midfielders in the world. You're speaking my language, Brendao, and that's not just because you're typing in English. I totally agree. I think that I think that that's the way that it goes, and I would play Paul Pogba. I don't care what anybody says. I would. Simple as that. But yeah, I hate to say it, Liverpool are genuine title contenders this season. I can't say anything more than that. They really are. Yes, a few people saying how you're watching the match, Mark. Well, we don't get it in the UK. So for me, we've got Dan coming on just before 3 o'clock, who's in America, and they've got the game over there. So he will be keeping us up to date with what's going on. And I'm basically going to be keeping an eye on your live comments for people who are watching it and what Dan's got to say. And we'll take it from there. Andrew Robertson says that's a decent team. You know, we don't not do watch-alongs just because it's not on the telly in the UK. We can still keep up to date with it. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're not watching it and you're just going to, you know, interact with the live comments and listen to people who are, then you might be saving yourself a little bit of blood pressure. But the best news is Dalot is holding that right back position, says Neil04. And Ollie Clark says, you haven't even mentioned that Fulham have a new manager who's got as many points in 3 games as the previous manager did in 12. Different side with Ranieri. So, well, did they not lose their first game under Ranieri? Or did he come in for the Southampton game? Are they unbeaten under Ranieri? I mean, look, Ranieri's a good manager, and I think Fulham under Ranieri are definitely a tougher prospect than they were with their other manager. But I also would say that they're still Ranieri hasn't had a transfer window. It's not his team, and I think there are a lot of weaknesses in that team. Effectively, I think that they're a championship team, Fulham, and I think that that's why there shouldn't be any issues for Manchester United to win this today. A lot of people saying, why don't you watch it on a stream? The reality is, obviously I'm not going to promote anything like that, but even if you are, because I've heard, if you do watch it on that, you're still going to have Dan, who's going to be at least a minute, maybe 2 minutes ahead of you, because he actually is legitimately watching it. So what I'm saying is, on the watch along, whether you are going to watch it on a stream or anything like that, Dan is legitimately watching it in America, so he will be. We will be ahead of you anyway. What he's telling you, when there's a goal or not, you'll probably get to see it. Obviously, however you're watching it, but he should be around, a bit quicker than you. Manic says, "What did you make of the Jorge Mendes statement?" Look, mate, I did a video on it last night. I don't want to be rude, but I did a video on it last night. Spoke about it quite intensely. All I would say is that I think it was a very very clever statement from Mourinho and his agent. The biggest thing for me was talking about him being happy at the club, having a long-term project and a long-term contract, and also saying that the club are very happy with him. For me, that was throwing the ball into the court of the club and saying, look, if you're not happy, do something about it. But I think the most brilliant statement I made in there, without, that sounds like I'm arrogant, I don't mean that, but I think my best part of the interpretation of the Jorge Mendes statement was that if you knew you were not going to get top four with Manchester United and you were the manager and it's December, and you know if you're still in a job in March when it's mathematically impossible to get top four, you're only getting 5 million. But if you get sacked now, you're getting 20 million. And you know no matter what you do, you're not getting top four anyway. You probably want to twist the arm of the club to try and get yourself sacked now, don't you? And that's my theory with Mourinho. I think a lot of his comments, I think a lot of putting the ball in the court of the club through his agent is probably trying to get the sack now. Because I don't care who you are. Do you want 20 million or do you want 5 million? And the 5 million will be, you didn't get top four. It's in your clause in your contract. So we only have to pay you this. Killian Wyatt Will says it's on Sky Island. Do you want my Sky? Go for it. Thanks very much, Killian. You're very, very polite. But there are ways I can keep in contact with the game. Don't worry. Martial is carrying an injury. Abu KK. And Danny Green says Mitrovic is scoring goals. I can see him bagging another today. It really just depends how Fulham approach the game. A point for Fulham and to stay unbeaten under Ranieri is a real positive. So I think they might be quite happy with that. Jack Coleman says Jose's treatment of Andreas and Fred is disgraceful. I totally agree with you, Jack. I totally agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, our midfield today consists of Matic, Herrera and Lingard. Lingard, what has he done to be playing in our midfield ahead of Fred and Pereira? Herrera, over the last 18 months has hardly been picked, but he's playing ahead of Fred and Pereira. Matic, over the last 8 months, has been crap, but he plays ahead of those players. But let's not forget Paul Pogba's on the bench as well. I think there's a lot of people who want to say, Pogba deserves to be dropped, his attitude stinks. But for me, there is a targeted hate against Paul Pogba. And I'm not saying it's from the fans, I'm not saying it's from the media, but I think collectively there is a targeted, unfair hate towards Paul Pogba. Because he has one really bad game against Southampton. And the last bad game he had for me was Brighton in August. And yet he gets ridiculed and, it's right to drop him. Mourinho's right, kick him out of our club. But then you've got Lukaku and Matic, who this season and last season, towards the end of it, were absolutely atrocious. And they don't get targeted. They're left alone. So why does Pogba get targeted? Oh, because he's Paul Pogba and we break the world transfer record on him. Well, we may have done that, but we've paid the same for Lukaku. There's a responsibility on the manager on how he treats his players, and I think the way Pogba gets treated is poorly. Stanley Wilder says Glenn Murray would be more useful to us than Lukaku. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say, because Lukaku could score tonight, this afternoon. Martial is carrying an injury, it's Bookie, and so is Bailly. So I think they're just not being rested. I think they're being rested. I always think it's very dangerous, and I've said this many a time before. I always think it's very dangerous to go in on a United lineup before a ball's been kicked, because I've been a victim of that before. You can make yourself look a bit of a plonker. So I don't intend to do that. I don't. I made a joke last night. Apparently, Lukaku is not happy with being dropped, and he may want to leave Manchester United. I said, well, if he goes and chases his first touch, he'll never come back anyway, so send him off. But there we go. Epic Plays says, wasn't Matic suspended? Yeah, we got trolled. Epic Plays. We did the preview on Thursday night, and people were saying Matic is out suspended because of 5 yellow cards. He's only had 4, so that's not the case. Anyway, let's have a little bit of festivity. Oh, I just reminded myself, we haven't got the... I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. It's an idiot. Sorry about that. That's not going to work either. We should have the festive background, but... how do I get it to work? There we go. We need the festive background. It's Christmas. God, bloody hell. We're United fans. We need all the joy and goodwill we need. So there we go. With that, as if by magic, I played my jingle bells and the snow appeared. There we go. It's snowing. Got the Christmas tree up and the lights. I'll light the fire. You bring the women. I'm only joking. I'm a married man. At least the lot is starting, says Caleb. And are you hanging up your stocking on the wall? Yes. Pogba has got a lot of starts to become an undroppable player. He just never cemented it, says Jazzy now. Yeah, but I would say, well, why is Matic an undroppable player? He's crap. There's a contradiction there. There's a contradiction, without doubt. Young ain't young anymore, says Lord of Decay. And but he can't change his second name just because he's not young anymore. He's not going to change his second name to Ashley middle-aged, is he? You know, he's always going to be Ashley Young, even when he's dead. And hopefully he lives a long life. When are you coming to Dublin for a watch-along, says Manix SJ. It's a good point. I'm writing it down with my magic piece of paper and pen. But no. It was meant to be happening this year, to be honest with you. But it's been a busy year. I was meant to be in New York now with Jared doing a watch along, but didn't happen. The fan cams are amazing lately. Cheers, Flex, says Red Baron. Yeah, make sure you keep supporting the fan cams. I'm really enjoying them. I'll tell you who my favourite fan cammer is at the moment across any channel anywhere. It's the tall guy with the gold and green scarf. I forget his name, and I'm not going to predict it because it will make myself look stupid. But he's the tall guy, and he goes, you know what? And he didn't used to call Flex as well. He used to call him something else. He's really good, really good. He's Mourinho out as well, so I think I'm always going to empathise with that. Lincoln Jack Donme says that, what does he say? He says, Pogba is hated because of his skin colour. Simple. Well, I'll tell you what, mate. I detest that, if that's true, and I totally disagree with that, because that's racism. And as a white man, I am, a lot of people won't agree with that, but I definitely am. And I desperately would hate to think that any footballer is treated badly because of things like that. You know, we should be years and years ahead of that. I personally think Pogba is treated badly because of his lifestyle. I.e. the dabbing, i.e. all the sponsorships. I think that is sort of why when he's not consistently good on the pitch, people are like, well, you're doing all this, you're doing all that. Which, in fairness, Matic isn't. But the other hand, Lukaku's trying to rap. So I don't think it's anything to do with race or skin colour, to be honest. But Stephen Butler says the racism angle has to be bullshit. I mean, look, I think Rance came on, didn't he, when this was all going on in September time, and he felt it was a little bit to do with that. And obviously I said, I don't think that. But you can't stop people having an opinion. And I don't think it's that, but who am I to say it's not? Stig Helg, and I'm a massive fan of Paul Pogba, but I have said at times that, his performances just aren't good enough. But I'm a big fan of his, and I do hope that he can get back in the team. Stig, but of course, if he does come back into the team and play well, Mourinho will go, it's down to me. It's because of my tough love. And I think Pogba probably resents Mourinho so much, he's like, fuck, he's sort of like, shut, piss off. Stig Helg Westerham says, thank you for this channel. I watch it daily and the hour before games get me in the mood. Also, watch-alongs are better than the TV commenting. Thanks. Well, thanks for the contribution, Stig, and thanks for the positivity, because you lot make what the channel is. And you know what? I felt quite positive before I went live today anyway. I'm just fed up of being negative about Manchester United. I think you can get into a cycle of negativity, and I'm not really a negative person. It's funny, actually. Drawty, who does all the design for us, he said that, you know what, the United stand, because we've been running for 3.5 years now, he says the best time of the United stand is always the positive times. When we won the Europa League, when we're doing the transfers. And, some channels, I think, grow on negativity. They get somebody up saying, give it Moisey, or they get someone with a big cap on going, Wenger out, But our channel's never, I wouldn't say it's never been like that, because we've had Paul and we've had Rants on. But when I look at the growth of this channel, the growth of this channel has always been off positivity. You know, like I say, winning the Europa League when Mourinho came in, transfer windows, good results. And I think we are generally, it always makes me laugh when people call us the negative stand, because actually I think most of the United stand's popularity and growth came through positivity. So we've had 2 periods of negativity. We weren't around when Moyes was here, thank God, but we were around for Van Gaal, and that period from Christmas to him sacking in May was the worst period of doing the United stand. And I really don't want to go down that again, because what you do get is you get this, and we're getting it a little bit now, you'll always get people who back the manager because that's their mentality, and then you get a lot of people who don't want the manager here. But what you do get is a divided fan base. Even if it's 10% against 90%, you still got a divided fan base. So I don't like it. I much prefer when we've got a manager we're happy with, when we're building something, and there is opportunity to be positive. And I agree with LPHIXDJ. We have been negative at the moment. We are. But I always say about that, I think as a channel and as a fan base, negativity has reigned for probably since the American tour. I think before the American tour, we were hopeful we were going to get decent signings. We went on the tour, we knew we weren't going to get signings, we didn't get signings, and then the season's gone from bad to worse. There's definitely a negative feel to the channel, to the United fans at the moment. But what I would always say in defence is, are you one of those people that when, it's raining, you run out in your shorts trying to get a suntan? You can't control the weather, and we can't control Manchester United's situation at the moment. So I definitely don't like the negativity, but it's coming from others. We are being inflicted a negative environment around our club, and it's infectious. But personally, I just want to try and get away with that, even if it's just for a few hours. Red Baron's made another contribution. He says, the sad thing is we're not past racism, Mark. People hate Pogba because he has brought his culture to the dressing room. And Rahul Nabia says, the amount of hands Jose's been getting from this board, this needs to stop. A director of football with a proper spine needed big time. Love from India. Thank you, Rahul, for that. Look, Red Baron, I'm the one who started that conversation. I 100% believe that there is a negativity around Paul Pogba that definitely needs to stop. I want it to stop. I want him to be the player I believe he can be. And I don't like, when I went on social media after the Arsenal game, I didn't like a lot of what I saw. And my immediate reaction when Paul Pogba was getting all the blame and, called this, that and the other, I'm like, well, why are you treating one player badly like that? Why are you not treating Lukaku or Matic like that? Daniel A says, even when Matic is dead, Mourinho will play him over Fred. Mourinho has to go, so it won't tarnish either of our images. The formation we should use is 4-3-3. And Andrew Rossi says, I agree, Mark, that the American tour was very negative, but Jose was a big part of that negativity. Oh, Andrew, I agree. Look, where's the negativity coming from? A lot of it does come from our manager, and we can't help it as human beings. We love this. We absolutely love this club. And, we can't help but being drawn in by the negativity, I agree. But hopefully we can get a positive result tonight. And I do believe you have to live your life in the moment sometimes. We are going to be miles off the top and 4th place today, no matter what happens. But if we beat Fulham, we get to watch Match of the Day. We get to feel a little bit happy within that bubble, just for a short time. You've got to cling on to it. We've got to win first. Tom Talbot says, Mark, ask anyone for a TV app for the game, please. And let him stay, let him stuff us, says VJ. Ed Woodward is the problem, says Jason Harris. So get in with where you're watching from and your score prediction, and I'll read some of those out. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. How are we doing for subscribers? Top right hand corner, 311,227. So maybe, I don't really want to know. No, maybe we could get up to around 11,500 today. That would be nice. So please do subscribe, and please do get involved with the channel. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, of course, and also we are we've got the fan cams, got the match reaction straight after the game, and we've also got your calls, the call in, which we do after every game as well. A lot of people going for 0-0, which is surprising. 1-1 says Callum Hack. Can we win 4-0 says Free Roll. My score prediction is 2 or 3-0 to Manchester United. I think we're going to get an early goal, and I think an early goal in any football match, when you are the favourite against an underdog and you're at home, an early goal is key. Mourinho himself always speaks about this. So I think we're going to get an early goal, and then I think we could win maybe 2 or 3-0. 2-0, says Thomas Povat, and he's in Vienna. Vienna always makes me think of snow. Workington, Cumbria, 3-1 to United, says Dean Talbot. Watching from the UAE, 2-0 to United, says Rayan Khan. Netherlands, says Rose, 2-0 to United. So 2-0 to United is doing well. Radmagon says 2-0 as well. Cheshire, 1-0. Matter to score, says Michael Watt. Well, he actually says Cheshire, 1-0, mate to score. Don't know who his mate is, so I think it must be Matter. The Showstopper says 1-0, Lingard will score. 2-1. I'm watching from Jamaica, United 4-0, says Dean Samuels. That's a lot of positivity. See what happens when you turn the tap of positivity on. You get disappointed. No, I don't think we'll be disappointed today. And hi, Mark from Ireland, says Niall Dawson. I want Jose out. I want Jose out, says Pillar Jake Gaming. Manix SJ says, Mark, what are you asking Santa for this year? And Jake Green says 1-0 off Fellaini's toe. Thanks for the contribution, Jake and Mannix. Look, the thing about having Fellaini on the bench, and I've said this before, if we've got Fellaini on the bench, which we have, then at least we've got that option. And thanks for the contribution, Lil J. If you've got Fellaini on the bench, you've got that option to go long ball if it's 0-0 in the last 10 minutes. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Southampton, we're not playing them again. I don't think Fulham actually have that much in the way of height in their team. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we might be okay with that. What was I going to say? What was I going to say? I will pay for TV app for 3 p.m. kickoff, says Tom Talbot. Tom, there's loads of ways I can watch the United game if I want to. Don't worry about it. Pogba needs Herrera's attitude and effort, says Patrick St. Pierre. Thanks for everybody who's been offering me their NBSN logins, their Sky Go in Ireland. I really appreciate it. I'm just reading some of the DMs there. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. But we have got Dan coming on as well, with who is watching it in America. In America, Sharath Kamath Fitness says 1-0 United off some individual skill. India, thanks for that, Sharath. Remember, you can make a contribution through the $ in the live comments, but make sure you do leave us a question. I'm just trying to see if we've got any mods on today. I'm sure I've seen some mods. I wanted to just give them a bit of a shout out because they do a great job. I'm sure I saw Soph or Maria earlier on. Maybe not. Pogba and Mourinho literally hate each other, Delaney. Look, you can hate each other. You can hate each other and still do great things. Sing live forever. Do you think we'll beat Valencia in the Champions League? Says Jason Harris. It's an absolutely dead rubber game, isn't it? Because Valencia are definitely going to finish third. We're already going to finish in the top 2. So I don't know how Valencia are going to approach it, and I don't know how we're going to approach it. I mean, the real one is the Liverpool game, isn't it? Rahul Nabia says 3-2, Fellaini with a hand of Mourinho in the 96th minute. I actually think if United don't win convincingly today, a win won't actually make a lot of difference. I think if we scam a win like Newcastle today, I think fans are past that now. I think United have got to get a result. They've got to get a result today, a proper result, not a scammed result, not a boring result. They've got to get a result today, and that's what I believe United will do. He's dropping Pogba a lot, says Sean McManus. Yes, he is. So disappointed. Lukaku's starting. He's a fridge, says Bjorn Lundberg. And Red Baron says Gangster Dan from New York. Yeah, he should be on with us in a minute. A new Soph was here, and Ryan Beals is here. There we go. Shout out to Ryan and Soph, the mods, just in time. And Jay Biz says, my little boy has gone to the match today for his 8th birthday. Good. I'm pleased. I was going to go. But to be fair, I have got a family function on tonight. And Marcus is not well. Get well soon, Marcus. He's got the chicken pox. You don't want to be getting chicken pox in your 40s. You really don't. Andrew Rossi says, Mata free kick for the win. Florida in the house. Well, you know what? You've made a very good point there, Andrew. The fact that we've got Mata in the team as well means that from free kicks point of view, that is a real positive as well, to have someone who can do that for a free kick. Tom Talbot says, how do I phone in tonight? It's on Discord, Tom. I'm going to take a note here. I'll put the Discord link in the call-in. So, it's all through Discord now, and it works fantastically well. The shows have been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We don't get vaccinations for chickenpox, Mikey Mike. I had chickenpox when I was 14, and it nearly put me in hospital. I was the older you are when you get chickenpox, the worse it is, to be honest with you. Right, we're getting very close to kick-off. I'm just going to get the timer ready, and I'm sure Dan will be joining us any moment. If you're not watching it, we'll be keeping you updated with what's going on. Obviously, Dan's over in America. They get the game for how long? How long? I don't know. A lot of people are saying that Americans are starting to not put it on the telly because it's not interesting. But that's brand Manchester United at the moment. Anyway, I just want to say to everybody, I didn't have Ross on today. I haven't had Marcus on today. So most of the show has just been me interacting with you. And I've got to say, I always enjoy doing that the most. I enjoy just interacting with you lot. So I really appreciate everybody for that. Tweet. They come back. Come back with your colour TV. Right, Dan's in the house. How you doing, Dan? I'm good. I'm glad that you're joining us today. I presume it is on the telly over in New York. Good. What's your thoughts on the team news then? Apparently, sorry, Dan. Nobody could hear you then. I'd muted the other microphone because I'd been listening to something else about an hour ago and I'd forgot to unmute it. So everyone's saying we can't hear you now. So sorry, go again. I was just asking Dan what the team news is. What his thoughts on the team news is, and you were talking about Pogba a bit.
Yeah, I was just saying that not surprising given the injury to Martial and Bailly just coming back from injury. Pogba on the bench, so it looks pretty clear he's trying to keep him out of the team, Mourinho. But I was just looking at the lineup and thinking that there's no players that are in their top 5 position, in the world or even in the top 10. So as bad as the manager is, quality's not there either. And fortunately, we're going against a team that doesn't have too much quality of their own.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was on about. I fully expect us to win today. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but there are understandably a lot of people in the live comments saying, I don't know what you're on about. We can lose this game, and of course we can. Of course we can lose the game. I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but I think people are sleeping on how poor Fulham are. I really do think this is a game that United will win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a win as well. It just seems like whenever he's got his back against the wall, Mourinho always pulls it out. He always gets an easy game. An opponent that's down. Even though they did bring in Ranieri, which is going to help their confidence. They do have good players. Mitrovic is a bully. Seri is going to run the midfield against our slow midfield. So always be aware of that. But, in our heyday, this would be a 3-4-0 straightforward. And now, 1-2-0 probably do the job.
Red Baron says, I love your bromance with Mad Marcus. Yeah, hoping he gets well soon. I mean, as I said, it can be quite a nasty illness, that. So hopefully he doesn't get it too bad. Pereira isn't on the bench today. If I remember the bench rightly, we've got Fred, McTominay, Fellaini, Shaw, Rojo, and one other. I can't remember who it would. Pogba, obviously, poor Pogba.
Right,
Yeah. I mean, just what's your thoughts on the Pogba situation? Because I got to say, from as soon as he dropped him, I think he had to drop him after what he said after the Southampton game. And I think as soon as he drops him, he probably didn't do enough against Arsenal to start today. So I agree with Mourinho in how he's treating Pogba. I don't agree with how he treated him in the first place. I think he should be playing, but I didn't expect him to start today.
No, yeah, me neither. I was actually expecting McTominay to start because it's his birthday. So, Mourinho loves giving him a little bit of love, but it's just a sad situation. A lot of fans are turning on Pogba. Fans, didn't want to let him go in the first place. Then he came back, and then a lot of fans saying that Fergie had it right all along. He's not good for the team. He doesn't try hard enough. But I mean, this is a 100 million pound midfielder, and we can't get the best out of him, which is just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah. I just think that is also a myth about Paul Pogba, and Sir Alex Ferguson couldn't get the best out of him because Sir Alex Ferguson wanted to keep him. He left because he was out of a contract, and he went to Juventus. We couldn't keep him. So Sir Alex Ferguson was right. We didn't put him up for sale. He left because we couldn't keep him. We were powerless, and yet there is now this myth going around. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson knew. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't like Raiola because of what Raiola did in taking Pogba away to Juventus. Sir Alex Ferguson liked Pogba. He wanted him to stay. Wanted him to be patient. Again, myths. Time can allow myths to prosper, I suppose. But can you let me know when it kicks off for you, Dan? Because I'll do the timer off your game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just about to start. I'll let you know. Voodoo Moon just asked, what channel is the game on in the States? It is on NBC Sports Network in the US of A. So if you have that channel, that's where it'll be. I'm just laughing because I see Phil Jones and Smalling again in the center of defense. I mean, these guys were playing. They're the last of the Fergie era, and they're still our starting center backs. It's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, well, Ashley Young as well, and De Gea. It's always the back four, which is Mourinho's.
Just kicked off, Mark.
Okay, I've got the timer there. So we're going by Dan because he's over in America watching it. I know a lot of you will be finding ways to watch it, but we're going to go with Dan, and he will keep us up to date with what is happening. And a lot of you can do in the live comments, which I will read. So I'm going to be led by Dan today because he's going to be ahead of anything I could do anyway. Not only is his agent secretly talked with Juve for possible transfer, says Pauline Garcia, but what I am expecting from United in this game, Dan, is a quick start and an early goal. I think that's massively important.
Yeah, they actually just had a little switch of play. It was a long ball from Ashley Young to the channel to Lukaku, but he just overhit him. So it looks like they're trying to get at him straight off the bat. I'm actually interested in watching Ryan Sessegnon for Fulham. I caught a bit of him in the championship. He's a Wayne Rooney type, man-child, 17, 18 years old, playing like a 25-year-old seasoned vet. But got to get on the front foot, get an early goal because the longer it stays 0-0, Mitrovic is always a handful. So
we've had a cute contribution coming in from Ali Baron. He says Andres Pereira has replaced Luke Shaw on the bench. Okay, let's get an official line on that. Yes, he has, due to injury. So there, it sort of makes sense as to why Luke Shaw didn't start the game anyway. I don't think that means that Andres Pereira is going to get any time on the pitch, to be honest, Dan. I think
no, definitely not.
I think that he's come on because there's nobody else. But the reality is Scott McTominay, Pogba, Fred, Fellaini. That's 4 ahead of him, so he's going to do well to get on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fulham with it now. They're already doing the pump it up long ball to Mitrovic, and that looks to be their way forward. They're trying to hit the wings with Sessegnon on the left, but yeah, they're playing the long ball from minute 2.
Well, Jose tried to sort of talk about that, didn't he, and say, well, they're going to come and not be as energetic as us. But I think the onus is on United. I think any win's a good win for United, obviously. But I think very similar circumstances to the game against Arsenal in the fact that it's wet and press and mistakes will be made.
Yeah, of course. On the slick surface, anything could happen, and that's doubly true for our defense with those two back there. A through ball, and they slip on each other's shoelaces, or you've seen it with them. So can't be too cautious at the back. Herrera just fouling Tom Kearney there for Fulham, so they're going to have actually it was Matic with the foul, so they're going to have a free kick just inside of our half. Just showing Ranieri right now on the TV, and so.
David Roth. No, I won't be doing a Chelsea City watch along, because if you think about it, I'll be doing my match reaction, then I'll be doing the call in, and then we'll be doing the fan cam. So I can't just drop United stuff to go and watch that. I will have it on, but I won't be able to do a watch along for it, unfortunately. Matic is not suspended. Sorry.
A lot of empty seats, Mark. From what I'm seeing so far. I know it's early; the game just started, but I see a lot of, on the television, which is never where you want to see the empty seats. There's a lot of empty seats.
There will, of course, there will be, because I was talking about this. I don't know whether you heard me. Like, Rance has got a season ticket. He says he's not going to United until Mourinho gets the sack. I had the chance to go to this game, and I was like, no. I think there's a lot. I think that's the thing. The trouble with United is, and it's not a trouble. We are a massive, massive club with a massive, massive fan base, and it's a global fan base. But there are a lot of people who are season ticket holders for United who are Scottish, living in Ireland, living in Wales. Not Scottish people living in Ireland. I meant Scottish people. There's a lot who travel from London. It's a Saturday. Yeah. It's not far off Christmas. It's Fulham at home. We're not playing particularly well. We're totally expected to win this game. So there'll be a lot of fans who are, you won't be able, they'll try and sell them. Of course they will. They'll try and get rid of the ticket, but I don't think it will be very easy for them to do it.
Yeah, no, that's just what I'm seeing right now. A lot of those close seats right to the touchline, pretty bare. But United are switching it around in their own. In Fulham's half right now, Ashley Young on the ball. They plays it into Lukaku, who actually had a decent first touch there to Rashford.
Frame it,
and he's gonna Rashford too many cutbacks, and he's found Herrera on the left. Cross coming in from Ashley Young, and the keeper comes and catches. Well, the keeper is actually quite good, Sergio Rico. He was at Sevilla for a number of years.
Red Baron says, you like a wet pitch, don't you, Mark? Cheeky. To be honest with you, Fulham did make good signings in the summer, and I actually thought they were going to do a lot better than they did. I'd have to put my hand up and say I was quite surprised that they are where they are. I thought they would be doing a little bit better, but it just shows you that money isn't always the way forward.
Yeah, I think it's always tough too. You're bringing a bunch of guys over the summer for a promoted team, and they don't really know how to play with each other, and so Delos just skinned Sessegnon there, and then put in a cross, found Rashford, who's got it under control now. Good pace by Delos. It's
going to be a good interaction between those two, actually.
Yeah. Two young fullbacks. Sessegnon playing more as a wing back, but Delos getting up the pitch well, and United have a throw-in.
A few people are telling me it's on Sky Sports Premier League. It might be in your country. It's definitely not on in the UK. We are not allowed to have games, I think, between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the UK. It's why when La Liga moved the Clásico to 3 o'clock in the morning, the 3 o'clock in the afternoon it can't be shown, so we don't get it. I mean, Addy's saying there, Sky Sports Premier League, we don't get it in the UK, so don't worry about it. Like, we've got Dan who's watching it, and let's just say I'm fine. United Fulham isn't on TV, says David Roweth. There you go. I will say this for the millionth time. It absolutely disgusts me that you cannot watch Manchester United in the UK legitimately if it's a Saturday 3 o'clock game. And I've always said, you're basically forcing people to do something illegal to watch it on a stream when they shouldn't have to. They've probably got a tenner in their pocket. They'd happily pay to watch it. It's an old, archaic rule that they think that United fans, if they're not able to watch United at 3 o'clock, they're going to go and watch their local team. I'd rather watch bloody Noddy on the children's channel than go and watch bloody Birmingham or anything like that. It's not going to happen. So They need to get rid of it. But we're coming up for 10 minutes in, and we've not really had a clear-cut chance. This is something I was on about, Dan, on the Arsenal game. It's for all the good start, we didn't create chances, and that is something that Mourinho needs to address next. Really, for me, it's like, yeah, we can have the intensity, and he likes that intensity and desire, but when are we going to start creating chances? Because that's something we're very poor at.
Yeah, I mean, I see a little bit of pressing. They're just passing it right now between themselves at the back four. Jones and Smalling playing a little catch, but there hasn't been any clear-cut chance yet. No shots on goal. Couple wayward hit crosses. Delo again coming down the right side with a good cross in, and it's cleared out. Just went over the head of Lukaku. Actually, he's been probably the most impressive player so far in the first 9 minutes. Has been Delo. He's got the ball again. Another cross, fizzed in, and Sergio Rico catches it. But he's looked the best player on the pitch so far for either team.
I think that I'm just going to be guided by you, Dan, and anything you say I probably will just drop tweets out so people know. But I think the interesting thing about Delo is that he, against Arsenal, had lots of opportunities to whip crosses into the box and didn't put good crosses in. Whereas today it looks like a lot of people wanted to criticise him after the game on Wednesday, but I just think he's a young kid. He's way better than Valencia and Young, and the whole point of Delo, Rashford, people like that is that it's all about giving them 10, 20 games. They'll get better and better. They're not going to come in and be consistent.
No, of course not. And the same people that were probably giving him hell after the Arsenal game, the same people that have been calling for him to start, for 2 months, same people that want Chong and Gomez called up and Greenwood. But you gotta listen. If you're good enough, you're old enough, you gotta get the minutes. He just needs the minutes. He's definitely a better way forward than Valencia. That's not even a question.
Yeah, 100%. So we're just coming up for 10 minutes in. 0-0. United, obviously home team, more of the ball, but a lot of effort from Fulham so far, without any, would you say that the tenacity is actually there from United so far, or do you think they're just feeling their way into the game?
I think they're more so feeling their way into the game. They're doing well going forward, so when they get the ball, they're actually looking to move it forward. But it's not the same intensity as the Arsenal game where, they came out of the blocks and they were pressing everybody and running the ball down. It's more so they're not really getting at Fulham too much when they're on the ball. It's not to say they're letting them pass it around them, but the pressing's at about probably 50%. It's just the type of game too. They're going to be more up for Arsenal than they are for Fulham, aren't they? So
yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I hope United do continue on the front foot, because if they allow Fulham into it, I do worry about Mitrovic against people like Jones and Smalling, because he is a handful. But
Fulham with a corner now, so Sessegnon's coming up to take it, and they do have Mitrovic in there, and it looks like Smalling's going to man mark him. I always get worried in these situations because Matic doesn't, on corners, he's actually a pretty bad defender on corners. He gets scored on a lot off of corner kicks.
Dave's just said that Fulham are actually quite impressive the way they've started. I think a lot, they are at bottom of the league, but they actually have played quite confidently. Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, they actually opened the season very well. Mitrovic was, what do you have, 6 goals in 7 games or something to start the season. They were playing well, and then just a bad run of form, but they're definitely not afraid, and no team that really comes to us is afraid anymore the way we've been playing. So Fulham have a throw in here, and it's out for a goal kick, and Dave's going to look to start the attack.
I presume the formation is a 4-3-3 and Matt is playing to the right-hand side with Lingard still in the midfield, because apparently Lingard did come back from the international break and have a meeting with Mourinho and say he wants to play in the midfield, not out on the right. Is that where Lingard is today, with Matt out on the right?
Yeah, he's further up. He's right now he's right at the center circle, Lingard. He just picked the ball up off of Herrera. Him and Mata kind of interchanging a little bit, but he's more so central, Jesse. I don't like Rashford on the left. It infuriates me because he always touches the ball too wide to try to get it in such wide areas, and then the ball's gone. It's out of bounds or.
I think that's such a shame. I said that when the team news came out. It's that Rashford's played so well the last 2 games through the middle, and I've been saying this for a long time. He's not a winger. He's a number 9, and he's going to be inconsistent like Dalot, but you've got to keep playing him at number 9. we have an injury and he's got to go back to the left, and I just don't think you get the best of Rashford out there. And there was a way to keep Rashford up front today, and he's refused to do it to get Lukaku back in the team. You could have put Rashford on the right. Could have put Rashford through the middle. And
Mark, sorry to cut you off, but Ashley Young just scored an absolute banger.
No, there we go. There we go.
He's good for something, yeah. So it's 1-0 to United. I'll talk.
Relatively early goal as well.
Yeah. So there was a little neat exchange with Rashford, and Young gets the ball to him on the left-hand side, cuts it back on his right. Ashley Young cuts it back to his left. Actually tried to meg the defender, but got a little lucky. The ball came right back to him. And I'd say maybe 2 yards into the 18-yard box, he kind of just bends it into the far corner. Decent pop that from Ashley Young. Actually, he did not make the defender, yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I'm shocked that Manchester United have started, but good start from Manchester United with Ashley Young scoring. And keeper probably should do better, says James. But the reality is it's an early goal for United, and I think we really needed that. Mourinho will be very pleased with that, because it's when we don't get that early goal and it's 0-0 at half time, you've got nothing to show for it. It should open the game up a little bit more now. And again, it's one of Mourinho's favourites who's provided it.
Yeah, it was an excellent finish. It was kind of like the old 8-2 against Arsenal. Ashley Young, he was a little bit closer inside the box, but bent it in the far corner. Don't think there's much the keeper could do because he had to protect his near post, but I say this, if they go on like this and they maybe have a couple more goals by halftime, or it's a 3-4-0, then there's no excuse to not bring a player like Pereira off the bench. So that's all I could hope for,
Look, there's people in there saying I'm shocked, I'm stunned. I'm absolutely not shocked or stunned. I just think I know I've said it before, but you really, it's a bit different saying I think we're going to beat Southampton, I think we're going to beat Crystal Palace. This is a team that are rooted to the bottom of the Premier League. They concede over 2 goals a game. They've got half a team of Championship players, and they've got a manager who's hardly been there any time. I think United will comfortably win this game today. And again, it's all about levels for me, because United should never be losing to the bottom of the league at Old Trafford.
No, not at all. They have a free kick, Fulham, in about 10, 20 yards inside our half. They had a neat little 1-2 going, so it doesn't look like they're just going to sit back and take the goal. So they're definitely going to try and get level. But I haven't seen too much of Seri so far.
You'd be foolish not to have a go at United anyway. We're not Liverpool, we're not bloody Man City. You don't need to park the bus against us. Chris Jovis says no goalkeeper in the world could have saved that. And Charlie Davenport, what's your opinion on Pochettino being linked with Man United? Well, I'll give you that, Dan. What do you think? Thanks for the contribution, lads.
To me, it's one of those things where if there's a buyout clause to get him, I think he's going to have to be the one to say that he wants to leave Spurs, which I don't know if he will do. Not at this stage anyway. Much like you were saying the other day on the show, you'd want a manager to come in now and assess the players that we already have before we get rid of anybody. Let's say a manager comes in the summer. Where does that leave guys like Pereira and Martial and people like that? So ideally, you'd want a manager to come in now, see what he has, and then assess it. But I'd love Pochettino to be the manager. I don't think it's going to happen in January or anything. I know there were some rumors saying that they're trying to trigger a buyout clause now rather than the summer. But I would love him as manager.
United leading 1-0. And I think the really good thing is that we've got that early goal. I spoke about that. I thought we'd get it. You get the early goal, and I will say that Mourinho is right about that when he's been saying if you can get an early goal, especially when you're the favourites and you're at home, it changes the approach and it leaves you. The defensive team has got to come out a little bit more. So it will help United a little bit more. And hopefully we can get. I agree with a lot of people in the live comments. Ashley Young has scored. Look, even if we win this game 10-0, of course the flip-flops will be like we've turned a page. But you don't turn a page because you beat bottom of the league at home. You just don't. But we've got to take any positive we can get. And if you get to watch Match of the Day tonight because United won, it's a result. It's a result. We all know where we're going a week tomorrow. We're going to Anfield, and if we can get a result there, then bloody great. Because again, I want a result. I don't want to go to Anfield and get embarrassed. But today, for me, we're bad, but we're not that bad. We can't be that bad to not beat Fulham at home. It's a give me 3 points. Are Fulham going to get anything other than battered by any other team in the top 6? Of course not. And if we want to be sixth, we've got to win. Charlie Davenport says Pochettino said he's happy at Spurs. Well, he's got to say that, because one thing about Pochettino, Dan, is he's not going anywhere before May. So he's got to say that.
Yeah, of course. United have a corner here. Ashley Young just won a corner. He tried to do his little curl it into the far corner again, but the defender headed it away for a United corner. But yeah, that's the thing about Pochettino. You're not going to get him until the summer anyway. And like I said, I think he's going to have to verbally say that he wants to leave. And come to Man United in order for us to, in order for it to be even possible. So,
I saw a comment there I did want to read out, and I can't remember where it's gone. Make sure you subscribe. Link in the video description or the bottom right hand corner. We're going for 311,500 today. So subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Get involved with the United Stand. We've got a call in after the show. We've got fan cams tonight. We've got a really interesting show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for you as well. So get involved with the channel and have your say.
Yeah, Delo just put in another great cross to Smalling, and he's headed it off of the Fulham defender for a header for a corner. So United with another corner, and Delo just tried to volley it from about 25 yards out and kicked it out of the stadium. But good confidence from him. He's actually, like I said, probably been the best player on the field for us. He's put in a ton of crosses, and they've all pretty much found their man or put us in good positions to attack. So.
It makes me laugh, actually, because people may remember this, but there's that famous game under David Moyes, which was around this time of year. I think it may well have been January. And we played Fulham, and I think we had 1 million crosses and drew 0-0.
Yeah.
So, they're always a team that you can put a good cross in against. Well, not I say a good cross. They do let you put crosses in. Alan T says it's been a very slow pace from United. But, to be honest, the goal is a bit like that goal that Valencia scored against Everton last year, isn't it? It's a great goal that sort of... it's an absolute godsend for Mourinho, because it's not a goal that's come from, sustained pressure or anything like that. It's a bit of individualism, but boy oh boy do we need that, because Mourinho needs it for sure.
Yeah, Fulham just on the attack there, and Mitrovic just outside the 18 had a little shot at goal and kind of rolled into De Gea's hands easy enough, but defenders were kind of backing off of him when he got the ball, which you don't want to see. Can't give him time to shoot. He's actually got a good finish on him for a big guy who's, usually big forwards like that aren't great with the ball at their feet, 20 yards out. But he's got good technique. So Lukaku kind of absent in this game too. Speaking of forwards, hasn't done much. So 20 minutes in.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying it because it's nice to have somebody else who's got the responsibility of keeping us up to date with what's going on, and a bit of a nice relaxer for me. But I'm enjoying the live comments as well. Charlie Davenport says reports coming out Lukaku unhappy with Mourinho, and some of you are overhyping the young goal. It was decent, a bit of a stretch to say it was a worldie. Says Active Dan. Fair to say, Dan? Do you think it was a worldie, or do you think it was a little bit?
It wasn't one of those that you're going to watch it on the highlight reel, 30 times in a minute. It's not Martial against Liverpool on his debut, but it was a good goal. It wasn't an easy finish. It wasn't a tap in either from 5 yards out, so it was a good goal.
What I can do is keep everybody up to date with what's going on in the other 3 o'clock kickoffs. I mean, we may as well try and keep an eye on the Arsenal game, because that's what we're trying to achieve. Bournemouth lost 4-0, so United actually are ahead of them anyway. But we can go up to 26 points today. Everton, I think, are playing tomorrow, so we would go ahead of them. And that would put us up into 6th place, 26. Obviously, Arsenal and Chelsea are on 31. I mean, if Man City were to beat Chelsea today, we could be within 5 points of 5th place. But I think no matter what happens, we won't be closing the gap on the top 4, because I would be amazed if Arsenal and Spurs don't win today. But we've got to win.
Arsenal and Huddersfield still 0-0. Another corner for United. It's cleared away, and the keeper will come to collect from Young's rebound. But Delo, he's won maybe about 3 or 4 corners on his own. He's getting really far forward. He's really, really doing the overlap well, and the players seem to understand him. He's got Herrera feeding him the ball a lot, so It makes all the difference in the world when you have fullbacks that could attack.
I've got to say as well, I mean, I love football at this time of year. The autumn fixtures are always great. And I must say, I'm a massive fan of the 3 o'clock kickoff. I love the 3 o'clock kickoff. It's what I grew up with. I just don't like the fact that it's not widely available to watch your team. Barcelona and Real Madrid do it. You should be able to buy a TV season ticket where you can watch every single game. And Manchester United and the bigger clubs would absolutely love that because it would be more revenue. But I like the 3 o'clock kickoffs because there's loads of other games going on. There's loads of other leagues you can keep an eye on as well. It's all exciting for a couple of hours. I used to grow up watching like Jeff and Soccer Saturday. I loved it, but we just got to get out today with the win. I think there is an acceptance at United amongst United fans, Dan, that no matter what happens, Mourinho will be here for a while yet. I mean, I said that we'll win today. The Valencia game's irrelevant anyway because we've already qualified. We'll lose to Liverpool. People will be annoyed again. But then we've got Cardiff. Nobody loses to Cardiff. And then we've got a couple of games at home, Huddersfield and Bournemouth. So you could see us beating Cardiff, Huddersfield and Bournemouth. And then he's safe again all the way through to Spurs away where we'll probably lose. But then we've probably got someone easy again for a couple of games. And then you're into February. And, I think the opportunity to sack Mourinho and rescue this season's gone anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. It's finished. But we got Rashford here on the left. And he's had a cutback to an open Jesse Lingard, but he's overhit the pass, and he started a Fulham counterattack in the process. So, and they've just played in Sessegnon, and an unbelievable tackle by Delo to go out for a goal kick, tackled it right off of Sessegnon's shin. So not only is the young fella getting up the field, but he's getting back and doing good defensive work on one of the better young wingbacks in the game.
I'm gonna tweet that out as well.
No, he's got to be, so far, 25 minutes in on his full debut, he's got to be man of the match. Easy. Yeah. Second game, second start of the season.
Well, the one thing is, as long as he's doing even half okay, he's going to get the love of Old Trafford, and Mourinho's going to have to keep picking him, so that is a positive. Man United have agreed personal terms for Varane, says Charlie Davenport. You're playing FIFA again, mate? Because we haven't. Never in a million years. And Cardiff beat Wolverhampton, says Bayer 2-0. Look, we ain't going to go to Cardiff and lose. Look, that's your Christmas present this year from me to all of you lot. I think it's the Saturday before Christmas, Saturday evening, away to Cardiff, three more points. 3 points closer to safety, 40.
Yeah, absolutely. They might be one of the apart from Derby, I think it was, what was that, the 2009, 2010 season, Derby, when they had about 12 points. Cardiff might be one of the worst promoted Premier League teams there's been since the inception of the Premier League. They have to be.
Yeah, I don't know how many points they've actually got.
I don't think there's one player on there. When teams, they'll come up and then they'll go back down in their first season. I don't think there's one player on that team that any other Premier League teams would buy. That's a championship team playing, punching above their weight. So
yeah, to be fair, they did well to get up, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But United just passing around now. Herrera's seen a lot of the ball. Mata and Delo have played well together. They have a good link up. But still very, very quiet from Lukaku. I'd say in attacking areas, probably our best player going forward's been Rashford. Had some good attack on that. We got Phil Jones putting a cross in. Oh, you missed it. I tell you what, Mark. You had Phil Jones putting a cross in that hit the defender in the chest from about 8 yards out. So he couldn't even clear the first man.
Bad. I can't read the rest out. Bad with loads of 101 says the team has a confidence about them today. Well, yeah. But we're playing bottom of the league. I've got to keep reminding people about that. I think we all want to accept that United are crap, but we're not relegated crap. We're not going to get relegated, and Fulham are bottom of the league. They're there for a reason. You can't say United are 8th after at Christmas with negative goal difference for a reason, because they are. We've not been good enough. And on the other hand, you can't say, well, Fulham are not bottom for a reason in December. They're bottom because they're crap, to be honest. And Ranieri, I think, might keep them up, but he's going to need a transfer window and a few more weeks to get them anywhere near what they need to be. So, I never ever for 1 minute thought we were bad enough that we wouldn't get the result today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'd like to think that even if we haven't been playing great, there's got to be 3 points in the bag when you play a team like Fulham, especially at home. But yeah, it's just, Mourinho was saying that he wants these players that have heart and desire, and playing for the fans and playing for the shirt and all that. So he says he needs more money to do so. Hold on a minute, we got Rashford in. We'll cut back to Juan Mata, and that is passed into the bottom corner.
2-0.
2-0 to Man United.
Game over. There you go. Told you.
That's a trademark Juan Mata finish, and it actually all started with Lukaku. So fair play to him. I'll give credit where it's due. He actually played a very, very, very good ball into Rashford down the wing. Rashford latches onto it, takes his time, has a look up, cuts it back right to Juan Mata, just outside the edge of the 18-yard box, dead center, and he just passed it into the bottom right-hand corner. Just typical Juan Mata finish. Just stroked it home.
Merry Christmas! 3 points for Manchester United. There you go. What I was just there was a comment there. Let me just change the score. Paul Gibson says Young scoring against the bottom of the league. Fulham will guarantee him the next 20 games. I actually felt Ashley Young would play against Liverpool next week anyway, because of this whole, I don't know whether it's a myth or not, but he does tend to he put Salah in his pocket last year, so Mourinho may look to do that again.
Yeah, he also played well against Hazard when we played against Chelsea. Ashley Young, he seems to have a knack for putting rising to the occasion in a big game. But I was listening to what you were saying earlier about not wanting to start Bailly because you have Liverpool coming up, but there's no chance he's going to play Bailly against Liverpool. He's going to go with Jones and Smalling, isn't he?
We're going to have to. We literally will have to part the bus against Liverpool, though, won't we? Let's not lie. There's no game plan that we can go on the front foot at Anfield. They play a certain way of football, and I think Jose, even if we were going for the title, would go to Liverpool and park the bus, because we're just nowhere near that level. Yeah. I hate to say it, but we are. 2-0 to Manchester United. I mean, some people are saying you're not looking massively surprised. No, I what did I say? I fancied 2-3, even dared to dream 4-0 today, and I think we will keep a clean sheet as well. It's not a surprise to me, this game. I think it was always going to be a comfortable win for Manchester United because Fulham are crap. There are levels, and we are bad, but we ain't losing to Fulham at home bad. So comfortable, 3 points, 2-0, and I'm very happy. But I'm not going to be starting to say we've turned a page. This is the way to go for United, because it's Fulham. Enjoy it, enjoy the win.
Yeah, no, of course you're not going to get ahead of yourself. Matic actually had a decent cross into Lukaku, who jumped about 8 years too early, and the ball went over his head. Could have been a chance, but yeah, these are the games you expect to win. And,
Ellis Horton says flip-flop, Mark, Jose in. No, definitely not. But what I would say is the early goal makes such a difference in these sort of games. It really does. And I know, and to be fair, Jose has said that himself. You think about that Young Boys game, the miss from Rashford, I think, in the first 5 minutes. If you score that, you probably do go and win 3 or 4-0. But if we haven't, if Ashley Young doesn't score that chance, what chance have we had up until Mata's goal after half an hour? The crowd start to get frustrated. Against the lower teams, when you're at home, you do want to score a goal in the first 15 minutes because it settles your nerves. It means the opposition have got to come out a little bit, and that's good for United. And we should now go and look to win this 3 or 4-0, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. A Fulham player just got booked. Anguissa Kamara in the midfield. He just had a tackle on Jesse when we were trying to start a counterattack. But yeah, these are the types of games. You got to start well in, especially when you're playing an inferior opponent. It's just as this season we've just come to expect. We're playing inferior opponents, and it always seems to be a struggle to get started. So good today that Ashley Young got the goal. Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Huddersfield as well, Mark.
Okay. There's a super chat I just need to read here. It's the Mert says Ashley Young is leading this team today. Even though it's Fulham, we look better all round. Look, take it whatever you want to do. I'm not going to tell you how to think. Take it how you want to do. My personal thing is I don't think we'll learn anything today other than getting a win, which we desperately need. I will not take anything from this result, even if we win 8-0, because I just don't. It's not the level that you should be looking at United. I think if you are a Mourinho inner, you'll take something from this, obviously, because he's lowered your expectations so much that you will see a home win against bottom of the league as a page turner. But it's not about those games, is it? It's about what we do in consistently against the teams at the top. It could have gone a lot worse. It wouldn't have surprised me if United had dropped points today. So the fact that we've actually done what I thought we would do is always a positive, because that hasn't always happened this season. As people will know, I've predicted a lot of wins that hasn't happened.
No, exactly. Yeah, Delo again here defending, and it's come off the Fulham player for another goal kick. He's been by far and away best player on the field today. But just what I was saying before earlier about the transfers from Mourinho. He wants these guys that fight, and these mad dogs, as he likes to call it. But a lot of these players that we're after, or we seem to be after, like your Skriniars and Koulibaly's, he doesn't know how those players are personality-wise. You've seen him on television. He sent the scouts to watch them, etc. But he doesn't know how those players are and their personalities. And what if they come here and then they're the arm around your shoulder type players that he doesn't like? I'm very worried with giving him any sort of money.
Liam Geraghty makes a good point, and he's made a contribution as well. Thanks for that, Liam. He says Cardiff is 16th and already reached 12 points. Yeah, you know what? I just had to check that myself. They actually are doing better than I thought, because they're not even in the bottom three. They've got 11 points. But they've obviously they beat the Derby result, but I still I think I still think they're a dreadful side, to be honest. Yeah,
they are. They had the big win against Wolves during the week, so last weekend. So that was big. But they're not great. But would you trust him with any money? Let's say I know we've spoken before about giving him money, but let's say he's going to be here. Let's say they finish 5th this year, and they keep him on. You going to trust him with any money?
The thing is, I think Mourinho is going to be forced into picking Delo, which is great. I think he's going to be forced into keeping Herrera in there, which is great. And I think United will probably finish. I think we're going to finish 6th this year comfortably. We'll be 6th, but I don't think we'll be anywhere near top 4. Now, my Manchester United stance is that is crap, but some United fans will see that as, it's something we can build upon. I think the board will. I think the board will give him money in January, which I think is unforgivable, but I do get the feeling we're going to spend money in January. But I personally wouldn't. I don't know about you or everybody else.
No, Ashley Young's just skipped past his defender. He's crossed it in, and it's gone out for a corner. Good play there between him and Mata from right to left. But no, I wouldn't give him a dime. Only because I understand that the squad needs improvement. That's not why I wouldn't give him the money. I just don't think he could develop players. I think throughout his career he's relied on veteran players or players that he's worked with before, or players that he's known. You got to understand, all the players that he's worked with before, they're getting on in age. You Gary Cahill's, Diego Costa, players like that. These guys are in their 30s, well into their 30s. Is he going to develop any young talent? Probably not.
I tell you what, I mean, we've had a comment here from Shiraz Karat Math Fitness, who says Lukaku was put in and he had the worst first touch ever. Napoli are 2-0 up, says Marcello. Well, he says Forza Napoli, but I know that Napoli are 2-0 up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. We have got fan cams after the game. We've got my match reaction, and we've also got a call-in for you lot to call in and have your say via Discord. So get involved, get your notifications on, and subscribe to the channel. United very comfortable here. Fulham, one of the first teams to come to Old Trafford and not actually have a shot on goal of any note in the first 35 minutes. So not only have we scored 2 goals, we're not conceding many chances at the moment either.
No, we aren't. And to be fair to the defenders, they've actually played well, even though they haven't had too much of a challenge. Mitrovic hasn't been as good as he usually is. Seri's been kind of absent, which is where they're going to get all their chances from anyway. And Schürrle hasn't been at the races, but also too, apart from our 2 goals, not to harp on it, making it negative, but we've had a lot of crosses in. But apart from our 2 goals, I don't remember us having any other shots. I think we've just had 2 shots and 2 goals, which is good enough. But you'd like to see a bit more from your forwards, creating some chances. But Rashford lining up a free kick here. I think it's way too far out for him to try and shoot it, but it looks like he is about 35 yards out, and he's shy. absolutely crushed it, and the goalie made a good save there with one hand. It's kind of right at him, but it was flying towards the corner. He actually, he blasted that Rashford, and it's gone out for a United corner. Surprised he even got that on target from that far out. Looks like might have took a deflection too.
NCAM says, why does Mark seem so pissed off that we are winning 2-0? Oh, I'm not, no, mate. If you've been listening to the stream from 2 o'clock, I'm not pissed off. I'm very relaxed today. I totally expected us to win, and I don't believe winning against Fulham at home was ever going to be anything that excited me. I still believe that this manager needs to go. That's before kickoff, after kickoff. Even if we win 6-0, for me, he's got to go. I want United to win. I expected United to win, but I was never going to be excited by the result today. I'll be excited by. I'm excited by what I'm hearing about Dalot. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited by the fact that Ashley Young is getting forward a lot, and we're using our fullbacks, because to me that's what United has always been about. So that excites me that we're using the width. But the result itself, I mean, realistically, do you know me that little that you'd think I'd be sat here with a hard on going, this is fantastic? It's bottom of the league Fulham. I expected us to win, what did I say, 2 or 3-0? So we could go more than that, which would be great. But it's not a result that's going to, Are we going on Twitter tonight, Dan, saying, yay, we beat Fulham 4-0? Because all we're going to get back from Liverpool is, we went to Bournemouth and won 4-0. Levels. It's like we're playing bottom of the league. Great to win, but I ain't going to get overexcited about it.
Nah, I agree. And Rashford's on a little bit of a gallop here. Picked the ball up in midfield, going at the Fulham defense. And he's overcooked the pass to Ashley Young on the left, and it goes out for a goal kick. So, possible attack there, petering out. But this isn't one you get excited about. This isn't one you go tell all your friends about. You're not writing your mother from prison saying that United just beat Fulham 4-0.
Yeah.
But listen, a win's a win. But there's an old saying: is you either win or you learn. And sometimes you win and you don't learn anything about your team. It's games like this or games against weaker opposition that you wish you had a test in front of you to see how your players would react. I mean, this is what you should be doing, not just because of who you are and the badge on your shirt, but the players that are in this that are in the side are just far better than their opposition, and that's really what it comes down to.
Reaper says 100 to 20 million for the sack. 10 to 20 million for the sack is better than 80 million for the new manager. Okay. I'd agree with that. Sorry, I read that a little bit wrong. Yeah, look, mate, I'd pay a lot of money to get Jose out of the club, to be honest with you.
But you got to factor in the fact that they're probably not going to get the Champions League money, so it really all becomes moot at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, the business decision, and that's what the club will make. The business decision is hoping that Mourinho gets top 4, and then making a change in the summer, because that's what you hope for. I think because we've got business people running this club, they don't take risks on business decisions because they don't know about football. Football people would have got rid of Mourinho and gone, look, let's get somebody else in quickly. They might be able to get us top 4. But our business-minded people would be like, well, let's just hope and pray we don't spend any money and Mourinho gets us top 4. Dylan Walsh says Dalot has been amazing and Mata is very underrated. Juan Mata wears number 8 on his shirt because that's what he gives you every game. He's Mr. Consistent. He's Mr. 8 out of 10. Doesn't get used enough. Yeah, doesn't get used enough, and has been probably one of the most misused signings United have done. And that's not all on Jose.
Yeah, and even with his misuse, he still scored a boatload of goals for us. A little 1-2 here between Mata and a cutback, and Lukaku's got a tap in, and let's see if it's going to count. Yeah, he's onside.
3-0.
3-0, and Lukaku's finally scored at Old Trafford for the first time since Jesus came out of the cave. Oh boy! Wow. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Everything's going right. Everything's going right for Jose.
Yeah, we were just talking about Mata there, and we were saying that what a good, consistent player he is, and what he gives you. And I tell you what, it was tight with an offside, but it was a very, very good pass by Lingard. Actually, it was a little through ball to Mata, and he just squared it right up for Lukaku, and he couldn't even miss from there. It'd be tough for him to miss from there.
Somebody's just saying there it looked like it was a corner routine because Mourinho went straight to the coaches and gave them all a high five. So, 3-0 at half time to United. I mean, there'll be a lot of people very I know the mentality of people. Definitely offside, says a few people. Well, it's one of those days for Jose. It's going his way, isn't it? It's going his way. But and for United, obviously. But yes, 3-0 to United, not even half time.
No, the thing is too is let's keep this up. Let's keep. See, the thing is, you just are kind of expecting as we are a team with two halves. You're expecting to come out in the second half and just have. Just control the game, just pass it, not really create anything. But let's go on and let's see how many we can put past them for confidence. What are you going to gain by just playing possession in the second half?
Oh yeah, 3-0 up. You're not going to
pull the doors off of them.
No Mourinho team's going to give up a 3-0 lead. So I agree. Yeah, maybe we will concede one, whatever. But let's go and try and win. Let's go and try and score 5 or 6 goals. I mean, because it's entertainment, isn't it? We want that.
And our goal difference is appalling. So. Whatever it'll take to, like in a game like this, you got to try to get as many as you can because now your goal difference is +2. Let's say you put in another 2 more, now you're +4, +5, whatever. So, they should, I just don't want to see them in the second half, take the foot off the gas. But Lingard actually has been playing well too. He's made some good passes and he is playing well in the midfield.
I've said the thing is,
on the ball now.
I've said this, and I'm sure a lot of people remember. I've said this about Lingard before. Jesse Lingard in the midfield against the bottom half teams is a threat. He's a big threat. His movement against lesser players, and I say it with all due respect. The bottom half of the Premier League isn't as good as the top. He's a real threat. We want 5-0, says Danielle Khan. Finally, we can watch Match of the Day, says Paul Gibson. Exactly, that was my thoughts exactly. Nice, relaxing, festive evening watching Match of the Day with United scoring a lot of goals. Yeah, but, let's be honest, I was right. Fulham are shite.
Yeah, no, they're poor. They're poor at the back. Apparently, they have the most goals conceded in the Premier League, so...
Well, they do average about 2.5 goals a game, so at least we've beaten that. Don Naldo says, it kills me not to see Pogba play. I hope our big players stay and wait for Mourinho to get the sack. Well, that's a bigger question. It's not for when United are winning 3-0 and we should enjoy it like we are, but if you want Mourinho to stay, you're going to lose Pogba and maybe Martial, but you're going to lose Pogba. He won't stay. He won't stay under this manager.
Yeah, you had another little 1-2 here between Mata and Lukaku. Lukaku had a little drag back shot on his left foot that was saved, but yeah, it looks like they're still trying to attack, which is nice to see. Be nice if Rashford got a goal. I think he's played well enough to get one. It would be very nice if Delo would get a goal, come into the box late and just drill one into the far corner. So we're 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, we're nearly at half time. I mean, what we must say as well is that obviously United's goal difference is, that's another reason why Jose should just keep the pedal on, because we've got a terrible goal difference, and when you're against a team like this, dreadful. Just try and get 5 or 6 because that's a big boost.
Yeah. Also, too, if if let's just say the gap to the top 5 or top 6 or whatever is getting kind of jumbled up there, you don't want it to be where you're missing out on goal difference because you didn't go out and punish these teams. And Delo's going to get booked here. I think it was a little unfair. He kind of just got tripped up. He was actually tripping over his own feet and brought the Fulham player down. So going to have a free kick just inside our half. But I think it was a little harsh to give him the yellow.
Red Jedi says, this result is why it drives me crazy when people say our players aren't good enough for Jose to win with. I think there's a lot of elements of truth in that, Dan. I think, this is not a defensive Manchester United display, is it? It's an attacking team against the bottom of the league, and it's been an entertaining performance. But the problem is, as we know under Mourinho, is on Wednesday night against Arsenal, did we attack them like we've attacked Fulham? No, because we're not scared of Fulham. We were clearly scared of Arsenal, and we pressed for 10 minutes, then we sat back for 20. It's like, levels. We're way too good. We're way too good to not beat Fulham, but we're not good enough to be near the top 4 at the moment. This result is not a surprise to me. I think I tried to say this before the game. People who were thinking, we're not going to beat Fulham. We're not going to beat Fulham. I think you just got to look at the players that we've got, and you've got to look at the team that Fulham are, and it was always. I mean, you never say never, but the reality is, come on, we've got to be doing it, and fair play for the lads doing it. Abel Leon says, can we attract Zidane without Champions League football? Good point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question right now is not even about Zidane. It's more so, is how sure are we that Mourinho's not even going to be here next year? I don't know. Like I've said, I think the time to sack him has already passed.
Yeah,
and now the longer it goes on, at least, it's still 0-0 between Arsenal and Huddersfield. They're just showing the end of the half here with that game. So
is it half time now?
Good. Yeah, great half. The whistle just blown there. Really good stuff. Like I said, I think the only thing that's missing is just a goal from Rashford. I think his performance has really merited one, and like I said, we were saying earlier, it would have been great to see him up front and Martial on the left if he was fit, because I think with that team out there, I think they might have 4 or 5 goals already.
Sharath Kamath Fitness says, I've been begging for Mata to be given a free role. Everything we do go through him. He's slow, but his passes always end up as goals. Well, he scored a goal. He made the Lukaku goal. He's had a part in 2 of the 3 goals. Look, at the end of the day, as I said this at the start, as soon as I saw the team news, you can worry about Phil Jones, you can worry about Matic, you can worry about Lukaku, but if you give Lukaku a tap-in, he ain't going to miss it. And we did. The key players for me in that team today, and without mentioning Dalot, who was man of the match, were Herrera, Mata, Lingard, Rashford. Out of those 4 players, you're going to get non-stop running and quick movement of the ball. And if you've got those things against a team like Fulham, then you're going to cause them problems, and we've caused them problems. It's not rocket science. Jose Mourinho can do whatever he wants to do, but he is never going to play defensive football at home to the bottom of the league. He's let the team go out and play today, and when this team is allowed to go and do that, then we're going to win games, aren't we? The problem for me has been, and I don't really want to talk about bigger pictures because we're only at half-time in what's been a really entertaining game. The problem for me is, where's Herrera been for the last 3 months? Where has Lingard been in the midfield for the last 3 months? And the answer is, too many times. Matic I don't really like, but when you've got 2 players like Matic in the midfield, you're going to lose that tenacity and drive. Too many times for me, Dan, you see Matic and Fellaini in the midfield, and that straight away nullifies your speed and ability to get at an opposition. Today, you've got Matic sat there, that's fine, but you've got Herrera and Lingard buzzing around, moving the ball. And you've got Mata and Rashford buzzing around. And that's going to cause a team problems. I don't think it's going to cause a Man City or a Liverpool problems, but it certainly could have been more competitive for the top 4 spaces if we'd done that from day one. The reason we are where we are is because he went to West Ham and played McTominay, Fellaini and Matic in a team, and he's done that too much. Hopefully, whatever's going to happen this season, he does stick with this mentality, because it makes it far easier for us to watch. And I agree with you. I think he will be here till May anyway.
Yeah. I just think that with the players that he was playing in the beginning of the season, it was a lot of the favoritism, and there still is tons of the favoritism throughout the squad. He can't come out and claim that he needs guys that, especially in midfield areas, that are going to work hard and be buzzing around, and busy players and trying to press high, etc. But then go out there with 3 players that are over 6'5", and then expect to have the same type of impact that a Lingard would have or that a Mata would have. It just it doesn't work like that. And if he's going to keep preaching that, then he's got to start practicing it. And by playing these types of players, at least are the players still anywhere near good enough to be challenging for a title? Absolutely not. I don't think you're going to win a title with a Jesse Lingard in your starting 11. But if he wants to say that this is the way we should be playing, then you can't be putting these players on the bench week in and week out. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who you're playing. You always want to, if you want to have a Matic back there, you want to have a Fellaini back there to clean up in front of the back 4, then go ahead. But if you're playing teams that have quick midfields, fast midfields, and you're playing a bunch of slow players, it's only going to lead to one thing, and that's going to be slow football and negative football. Exactly.
Saminga says that's great, parking Decker bus in the second half. No, definitely. I think, Dan, you'd agree. I think everyone agrees. We're 3-0 up. We've got a crap goal difference. I think we're on +2 now. Let's try and double that. Let's go for 6. Let's make match. This might be the only time we beat anybody 6-0 this season. We want 7. We want 8. I want match of the days on record tonight. It's going to be good. Get as many goals as we can. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I hope so, especially in this type of game. This is where you need to try and close the gap on the goal difference and get into the positive in terms of maybe having a 4 or 5 goal difference. So if you could put in 5, 6 past these lot, that would be huge.
Yes, and look, it's a bubble. I said this before the game. We're in a bubble today. We're playing bottom of the league. They're absolutely crap. Let's get a good result. Let's enjoy being a Manchester United fan for once, because we've had a bad few months. Let's get match of the day on. Let's enjoy the game. Let's enjoy a bit of good football. And, we've got a terrible game coming up in a week's time where we could get absolutely hammered. So let's enjoy today. We've also got the call-in coming up after the game. We'll have a match reaction. Then we'll do the call-in for your Discord. So make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. Loads of content on the United Stand. If you are new, I know we get new people watching the Watchalong. So subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, or do it through the link in the video description. Make sure you got your notifications on through the bell. Just click it and tick to get all your notifications. We will be taking your calls afterwards, because there's a lot of people saying there, I'm not convinced it's a one-off game. I do agree with that, but I don't think you should ignore the fact that you're a United fan, and there's nothing wrong with being positive and happy about a performance that, yes, the opposition are crap, but it's still nice to see United scoring goals and winning games. It's been too long. It doesn't change my long-term view about what should go on. I'm certainly not thinking for 1 second that Mourinho should be our manager because he can beat a team at home who are shit. There's only one way to play against this sort of opposition. You cannot park the bus. You've got to go and attack. And I think when we're allowed to do that, great. And as I said, Dan, the thing for me, I absolutely loved was the fact that the fullbacks were so involved. That's United for me. That's something that, Mourinho, if he did continue with that, I'd love us to start using our fullbacks more. It's what United is all about.
Yeah, no, that's the key, and we were speaking about it earlier. It's so important when you have fullbacks that can attack, especially a young fullback like Delo who's 20. Players like that, and your Luke Shaw on the left when he's fit, and obviously Ashley Young's contributed today with a goal, and that's been huge. But if you could have good attacking fullbacks, I hate to say it, but look at Liverpool. They got 2 young attacking fullbacks that get forward very well, super fit, super fast. And that what that does is that just opens up the whole middle of the field when you're attacking for your forwards to get into the channels and to do things like that. If you don't have that, you're pretty static, and teams could play against you pretty easily. Yeah. So we're in a good position. It's very rare for United to be... Andrew Rossi says Delo playing like a young player who knows he belongs in the squad. Great energy around him. Yeah, look, to me, as Dan says there, regardless of what's going to happen, and everyone knows what I think about the manager, but the reality is, if we can have fullbacks sorted, like Luke Shaw and Delo, that to me is a real positive. And we have got Phil Jones playing today, but we can talk about how bad Fulham are defensively, but offensively they've had a shot from the edge of the box that was crap by Mitrovic. They've not caused United problems, and to be honest with you, whether it's Wolves, whether it's Crystal Palace, which I was at a couple of weeks ago, teams do cause us problems. So, not only are Fulham bad at the back, that they're obviously not very good going forward. So it's the perfect game for United, but they've took advantage of it, and very, 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 very pleased that we've got a game won in the second half that we can, maybe it's an opportunity to get Pogba on. Be interesting to see if he does do that, Dan. Has Mourinho got any intention of working Pogba back into this team, or is it a big up yours, I don't want you here anyway? It'll be interesting to see if he wants to get him on and get him integrated into the team, because it's a great opportunity to do that at 3-0 up. Yeah, to be honest with you, I was actually just thinking about this before you mentioned it. I actually don't think he's going to put him on today. Even with the scoreline the way it is, I think putting on a Fred. The thing is too about Matic, he goes on and on about how Matic just played a lot of minutes. The smart thing to do would be putting on a Fred for a Matic, or even Pereira for a Matic. But even if he brings on McTominay for a Matic, just to get something else out there that is not him. But I really don't think he's going to use Pogba today. I think as the scoreline gets higher, it's going to be an even bigger slap in the face. You can't even bring me on when we're 5-0 up or 4-0 up.
Yeah.
I just think that's going to just do him in. I really think he's had it up to his back teeth with him. The same with Sanchez. I think they're both gone.
We're trying to get up to 311,500 subscribers today, so please do share the video and subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. I am Dax, says Pogba is crap, and fan base here in America is celebrating as if we've won the Champions League, says Xeon X. Look, I like that. I know if you're in a pub in America or wherever, United are winning 3-0. God, I said this before the game. It's up to you what you do with your life, but the reality is you are a Manchester United fan. You are allowed to celebrate Manchester United winning 3-0 at half time, scoring good goals, playing good football. It doesn't mean you're a flip-flop. It doesn't mean that you're thinking about being Mourinho in. Well, maybe you are, but I'm certainly not. I want him out of our club, but I am enjoying this today. I do like it. I want Manchester United to win games. I'm certainly not doing anything massive and saying we've turned a corner or anything like that. That's embarrassment, but I'm happy that we're winning. And to be honest with you, if you are happy that you're winning and there's that little element of guilt because you're like, oh, is Mourinho showing us the way? Well, no, he's not, is he? He's not showing you the way because he's doing what you've been wanting him to do for a long time, using fullbacks, using tenacious ball go get the ballers in the midfield. Don't feel bad about it. It's fine. And Patrick, I don't think you need to say Mourinho out still. I think only people, if you're Mourinho out, you're definitely still going to be Mourinho out because beating Fulham at home shouldn't make you change that. It will make some change, but there's no guilt in feeling happy about this performance from United. We had to win. I think the worst result would have been winning and doing it like Newcastle, Dan. At least we're actually winning a game convincing. It's a novel feeling.
Yeah. It's a treat, especially for the people who went to the game or people who are watching, around the world. You don't want to. This game is not the type of game that you want to come back and have the agony of, you're going down 2-0 and then everyone's saying, oh, he's got to get the sack now, and then you pull it out against a team like Fulham. It's good that we could, kind of put on the cruise control a little bit, but still go out and attack and give the players the confidence. Like I said, this will be great for Delo, to come into this type of game. The way he's played, come out the other side with a convincing victory, be huge, and hopefully for Lukaku's, confidence too. Because let's face the facts, he's going to play him. He's going to play him pretty much week in and week out, unless he's hurt. So the more confident he is, the better. And I will say this about his touch today: has actually been drastically improved. But it's not that hard to do when your touch is so awful to begin with.
Yeah. I take the piss out of Lukaku a lot, but I've also said, look, at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. It's just football. It's banter, isn't it? You can talk about Mourinho, but I actually think Lukaku is a problem we need to solve ourselves. We're not going to solve Lukaku by kicking him out of the club because, for one, who's going to pay even half of 90 million for him? You might get Mourinho out of the club. You're not going to get Lukaku out of the club. So we've got to find a way of working him. And I think, at the end of the day, if you put tap-ins for Lukaku, he will score 30 goals a season. So, you've just got to play to the strengths of Lukaku, and that for me is getting good quality players around him who can create chances. The great thing about today is we've created chances. People think, we should have beat Arsenal on Wednesday. Please show me the chances we created. We didn't create any chances against Arsenal. You can enjoy the effort, but we didn't create chances. So if you're going to get the best out of Lukaku, he can't survive on one chance a game. You've got to give him chances. And I think he is a problem we need to solve.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is what you were saying about potentially him, no one wanting to pay the money for him. I know that he's, we've all known that he said he wants to go maybe play in Serie A, especially because his brother plays in the same league with Lazio. But I could see a swap deal plus money to get him over to Serie A. Maybe not for a forward, but for a midfielder, for a defender. Maybe to Inter, get Skriniar back, and they give us a little bit of money. But yeah, I don't think any team's just going to come out outright and pay the money for him. But I think a swap deal if he was to go.
Rids39 says, would you play Lukaku right wing like Belgium and Everton and not worry about selling him? You see, if we hadn't spent so much money on Lukaku, I'd just say stick him on the bench as the backup striker. But he's so expensive in wages and fee that you can't. If he's part of your squad, you've got to play him. At the end of the day, it's on Mourinho, isn't it? Mourinho went for this striker, and it's a legacy of Mourinho. But we've got to get the best out of him. And the biggest thing he's got to do is lose some weight. And I don't mean stop eating pies. I mean stop going to the gym and bulking up in muscle. Make yourself leaner because you're quicker and you're better. he was a lot leaner at Everton, and he was a lot quicker at Everton, and that for me is the most important thing. He needs to be able to get around that box quick. Nobody in the top 4 has got a striker who's slow and muscly. That's not what you need. Harry Kane, he's quite lean. You've got to have that speed around the box, and that for me is the number one thing that would make Lukaku a bit better, Dan. He'd be a better player if he just trimmed down a bit and lost some of the muscle.
No, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And like you said, that if the tap-ins will give him the confidence, and so be it. But in his Everton days, he was a tall. I wouldn't say skinny, but he was very a svelte type of player. He used to move around the field a lot better. He's just gotten a little husky, as they say. Second half's ready to kick off.
Yeah, let me know, and I'll start.
Just real quick, Mark. I'm sorry to butt in here. Yeah, it just kicked off. Mods, if you could do something about Mape X. And get him the hell out of here, or her, because we ain't going to have that type of racist bullshit in the comments, my man. So
yeah,
I don't know who you think you are, fella, but you could.
I've got it.
You could be finished, my man.
He's already gone. I saw that one.
All right.
I'm on the comments today as well, Dan, being as you're the one leading it. But I saw it myself. Yeah, he's gone. Goodbye.
Yeah, just started. The half just started here. So Matic with the ball, and Phil Jones with a little out ball to Rashford. I
suppose the second half, it's about how many do you think we can get, Dan? And everybody at home, let's get in the live comments. I'm going to go 5.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I just really want to see, especially in this first 15 minutes, are we still gonna be on the front foot trying to go for more goals, or are we just going to let the game settle down and not give them any chance of coming back? I know at 3-0, you'd like to think that the game's safe, but the way Jose thinks, and he's probably thinking, well, let's just see these first 15 minutes out and hope they don't, basically play well enough so that they don't score, and then maybe we'll go on again and attack. But I think they should just keep playing the way they've been playing the whole game.
Well, there is an interesting thing. I mean, Jose Mourinho likes clean sheets, like some people like a hat-trick. He loves it. And I think De Gea is well overdue a clean sheet. He's having a horrible season. We've conceded 25 goals this season so far, and we've still got how many games till the new year? League games after today, we've got 4. Last season we only conceded 28. I think the season before we conceded 27. So I think Mourinho would like to avoid people saying we've conceded more goals before Christmas than we did in an entire season. So I think the clean sheet is massively, massively important for Mourinho and United today as well. Yeah,
absolutely. It'll be good for De Gea's confidence. He knows he's an unbelievable goalkeeper. But when you start looking at the goal lines after the games, any player, especially if you're a goalie, you say, I probably should have stopped that, or that shouldn't have gone in, or that should have been a clean sheet. So, just for the confidence to come out with a clean sheet and a convincing win would be great.
Patrick Whitten says Jose will still give himself man of the match too. Well, I think the person who said it in the week, that it's actually a Portuguese trait to never take responsibility and always take the praise. We know this about Mourinho for 15 years. It's a reality. Juna Shun says where to put Pogba, can't defend like Matic, not as mobile as Lingard, not as tenacious as Herrera. I think our game works better without him at the moment.
Almost just had a fourth there, Mark. We had Rashford coming in from the left-hand side, cuts it across just inside the 18. Save was made by Sergio Rico, but the rebound came right out to Lukaku, and he kind of snatched at it with his right foot, but it's gone out for a corner. But another good play from Rashford. He really deserves a goal. He's played great today. He played great against Arsenal.
The Pogba point was interesting though from Juna, because I think at the moment you're right, Juna. 4-0.
No, an unbelievable play between. Actually, Matic had a back heel. Matic played a great back heel into Delo, and he put an unbelievable cross on a dish for Lukaku. And Lukaku, I want to see if
end of conversation.
I want to see if it actually got saved, because it was going to be a tap in. Yeah, it was a corner. Keeper actually done well to get a piece of that there, but still on the front foot. So it looks like we're going to try to go for the goals. But yeah, sorry. No,
it's all right. Manchester 1017 says great football today. Mourinho out regardless. Getting quite a few super chats coming in. You can do that through the $sign. Make sure you leave us something to read. It's funny, I was about to say there was a few comments saying that Fulham have come out looking a bit hungry this second half, but United, obviously killing that with a couple of good chances there. But yeah, we when the game slows down a bit, we'll definitely talk about that comment about Pogba from Juna, because I think it's a very interesting one.
Yeah, so Fulham just on the attack here. So it looks like it's going to be definitely not just going to sit around and let us pass the ball around with a 3-0 lead. So it looks like they're going to come at us a little bit, which is going to make the game.
It's a bit of pride, isn't it, for United? Fulham?
Yeah. Also, too, makes the game more open for us. But yeah, Ranieri's the type of manager, he doesn't want anybody to take the piss out of any of his teams, no matter how incomplete they might be, just like this Fulham team is. So they're going to try to get something from it.
Yeah, going back to that Pogba thing, Juna was saying that where does Pogba fit in? He's not a better CDM than Matic. He's not got the speed of Lingard, and he hasn't got the tenacity of Herrera. And I think it's a very good point. At the moment, you're right. He doesn't fit into that midfield three, which is problematic for Pogba. But what I would say in defence of Pogba is, don't tell me that you're not going to put Paul Pogba in a midfield three, because he's better than all three of those players. Does this formation suit Pogba? At the moment, no, it doesn't. But
well, to me, I would say for me, I would say that the formation doesn't suit him because of the personnel we have out there. But even though his position is not a center defensive midfielder, you can't tell me he's not bringing more to the team than Matic. So even if he has to play, I know he likes to play further up the field, but if playing him in that position, in the Matic position, lets him quarterback the game and see the passes all ahead of him and move the ball faster from back to front. Like you were saying, you can't tell me you're going to leave him on the bench. Well, you can't tell me he's not better suited to be on the field than him. In terms of individual talent, I think anybody could play that position, really. Especially if you have any sort of ball-playing ability about you, which he has a lot of.
And Manny's right. Pogba's leaving if Mourinho's staying, 100%. So you make your choice, don't you? Do you want Mourinho or do you want Pogba? It is going to be that simple. But I mean, that's one for the future. I mean, as I said at half time, I think in the immediate, it's going to be very interesting to see if Pogba comes on around the hour mark, because then you're going to know what Mourinho's intentions are with Pogba. If it's like when he dropped Lukaku and against Everton, he got Lukaku on after an hour because he wants Lukaku to be part of his first team. So he saw an opportunity to get him on, score a goal, get his confidence up. We're going to find out now, because again, this is the sort of game that if you've took Pogba out of the team to give him a little bit of a jolt, but ultimately you want him in your team, you're going to get him on very, very quickly in this second half and try and get him integrated in. If your intention is actually screw you, I don't want you in my team, you're not going to get him on. So we're going to find... Football's always very interesting no matter what the score, because especially when it's a club like United and there's so many politics going on, you might think 3-0, it's a dead rubber game. Actually, it's not. It's going to be very interesting to see what his substitutions are, because Pogba is always going to be the elephant in the room until he's back in the team.
Yeah, I'm going to stick by what I said at halftime. I just don't think he's going to play him today. I really don't. I just think that I think the better we play without him, the more justification he has to not put him in the lineup, whether that's a false dawn or not. We are playing Fulham, and I get that.
That is right, though. That is right. Let's be honest. That is right. I don't agree with it, but he called him a virus after Southampton, so he's got to drop him. He did drop him against Arsenal. Well, there was a little bit of an improvement, and when Pogba came on, he didn't really do much, so he's got to keep him out of the team today. You're winning 3-0, so, whether it's a short victory or not, he actually is right at the moment. I can't say that he's wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But the thing is that if you're going to do that, great that you stick to your guns, but don't call on these players when everybody else fails you, because they're just not good enough. Yeah. Now, the attitude might not be there from Pogba, fair enough, but you can't tell me that the talent's not there. Yeah. So, when all else before you is not going to go the way that it's supposed to, then don't call on him to save your ass. Like in that Arsenal game, he called on him to try and go on and maybe produce something from that game. Now, he did it, but as a player, there's going to be no motivation for you, because the manager doesn't believe in you anyway.
Still 0-0 in the Arsenal game. For anybody who thinks we've got a chance at top four, well, could be, people say Mourinho's a lucky manager, And, he may not have had a lot of luck recently, but if we were to win today and Arsenal were to drop points to Huddersfield, that for me would be a massive 2 points dropped. Arsenal would be on 32. We would be on 26, which would cut the gap to top 4 to 6. So, that would be a very, very good day for United. Personally, you'd fancy Arsenal to score at some point, but, that to me would be a very significant. Because the one thing I did think about the Fulham game today is I pretty much knew we were going to win, but I also looked at the fixtures and thought, well, no one's going to drop any points for us to actually make any gap, and that was always the difference, apart from maybe Chelsea against Man City, but there's 5 teams above us, not 4. That's the problem.
Right, yeah. So as long as that stays 0-0, that's a positive. So about 10 minutes into this half,
I know, I must admit,
still haven't gotten the fourth.
Even if we finish 4th, I'd sack Mourinho, because we finished 2nd last year and it's still going backwards. So, but I've said this before. If you could offer me the perfect scenario, it would be by some miracle that Mourinho got us top 4 and then we made the change in the summer. Because I don't think a new manager can get us top 4. I don't think Mourinho can get us top 4, so I certainly don't think a new manager can come in and do what needs to be done with a bunch of Mourinho players. It's going to need to be a lot of rotation. So the best scenario for me is that, we do somehow get top 4, but it's going to be difficult. You're going to need quick results going our way, like Arsenal dropping points today. We absolutely need that to happen.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes you need the results to go your way in other games. But also, too, we haven't really helped ourselves in terms of closing the gap on those teams. Drew Chelsea, drew Arsenal, lost to Spurs, lost to City, got Liverpool in a week. So we haven't really done our bit in terms of getting the points that we should against when we could help it. So now you're just relying on other teams to drop, which you don't like to be in that position. But yeah, he looks like he's warming up Rojo to come on. So that's one of his substitutions will be done.
Taxi for Jones.
I don't understand. Yeah, I guess so. Probably got hurt.
Or maybe Smalling. He's been carrying a few injuries.
Well, we know he's not taking Matic off anytime soon, so he's safe. But yeah, so now he's down to 2 substitutions. You got to figure McTominay will come on because it's his birthday, and then Fellaini, that's 3. So, like I said, I don't think Pogba's getting on the field today. I just don't see it happening. And like I said, it's going to be an even bigger indication that he doesn't want him on this team anymore. Can't even bring the guy on in a 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I must just add that. I mean, as much as I was saying, I think we're going to learn about what Mourinho's intentions are with Pogba. I don't think he'll come on either. But I think we'll learn something from it because, as I say, I think if he's got an intention of bringing him back into the team, he'll do it. But the reality is, it's a massive risk.
Got away with one there, yeah.
It's a massive risk to bring him back in. Have we scored?
Yeah. Oh, no, United just got away with one there. There was a little bit of a haphazard defending at the back. The law went to clear it, kind of sliced it, fell out to Sherlock, but he's put it over. Really the only real threat. And it's Smalling coming off, so he might be carrying
I think he was. I think he is. So it makes sense to do that. The thing is, as well, that would you, if you've got a midfield that's working hard with Matic, Herrera, and Lingard, would you be looking to change that again for an Anfield game where you're going to have to work hard to bring Pogba in, who might give you a Brighton or Southampton performance? So. Maybe he's looking at that Anfield performance and thinking, look, I just want people in there who are going to run around. In fact, I think he might bring Fellaini in for that game.
Yeah, he might do. The only thing is that I just don't see where... Because I think that he'll bring in... Oh, hold on a second. Fulham's goalkeeper just cleared it right to Lukaku. And Herrera's got a chance to pass it into pretty much an open net. An open corner of the net that the goalie was nowhere near and he's missed it.
So I was just about to celebrate 4-0.
Still 3-0. Still 3-0.
I'm on a hat trick here. I said we'd win. I said we wouldn't score, and I said it'd be comfortable and we'd get an early goal. And I've changed it now to 5-0. My initial prediction was 2 or 3-0. I've gone to 5 now.
Yeah. Yeah, Herrera should have put that away. But yeah, the thing about the midfield is I personally wouldn't change the midfield for the Liverpool game. I mean, Matic is always going to play, isn't he? So we really can't take him out of the lineup. But I just don't think he'll play Juan Mata out there on the right. I think he'll move Lingard out to the right side, and then he'll bring in a Fellaini type to break up the play. I think as well as Mats has been playing and as good as he's been today, and as good as he always is, as consistent as he is, I just don't see him going with him for the Liverpool game.
Smalling's gone straight down the tunnel, apparently. So, yeah. But we know that Bay and Martial have been left out today because they're carrying slight knocks. We know that Smalling has had a slight injury, and obviously that may have worsened. We know that Rojo's only just back from injury. We know that Phil Jones is basically injured all the time. So, the centre-back issue is something that he's got to try and manage. CP says he can't stand the obsession with Matic. I think Matic has done okay today, but I talk about this in relation to United as well. There are levels, and I think people just assume that Matic is going to play shit every game. United are going to lose every game, but he's an international for Serbia. He's an half decent player, and we're playing a crap team. It's not a surprise that United are winning and Matic is playing well because the opposition are poor. But this is not where United's season's not going to be judged by today. Today was a game to enjoy, which it has been enjoyable, and it was a game to win.
Build a little confidence.
There's a lot of teams in this league that are not very good that get beat. They get turned over by the top six. If you're home to Huddersfield, Arsenal should be winning that. If Liverpool have got bloody Palace at home, they should be winning that. There are games in this league that should be 3 points if you're a top six side. And today is one even for United. Our season's going to be judged by the amount of points we've dropped already this season and also what we do against the top 10 teams. That's where we can hypothetically turn this season around. And now whether you believe that's going to happen or not is up to you. Red Everest says, yeah. Can you give credit to Matic a little? No. I'm not going to be a hypocrite, mate. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that because Matic has done okay today, I think he's a good player. I think he's a massive problem in the United team, and I will continue to say that. He's too slow, he takes too many touches, and against the better teams, he gets exposed. But today he's against the bottom of the league. What do you want me to do? Start lying and saying, "Oh, he's great."
Yeah, KA actually makes a good comment. Says Matic has started to lose out this half. He's being chased down more and closed more. That's the thing. He's got all the time in the world to make a pass. Yeah, of course he's going to look half decent. But if you put a little bit of pressure on him, he's usually got a mistake in him. He takes way too much out of the ball. So now they have Sari kind of getting a little bit closer to him to press him, and he hasn't. Kay's right, hasn't done well.
Well, there's a few people in the live comments saying there that, it's the tale of two halves again. Yes, Herrera should have scored, but Fulham have been better this half. We've dropped it.
Yeah. Got Lukaku now picking the ball up at midfield and running by all the defenders. He's played it out wide to Delo, who's put in another unbelievable cross and just misses Lingard. A Young's got it. Oh, there was a very, very good exchange there between Rashford and Mata. Good 1-2s. Mata just couldn't get his left foot around it, wrap his left foot around it. I think it's gone out for a goal kick. But the crosses that Delo's been putting in.
Still man of the match for you, Dan?
Been unbelievable. Yeah, absolutely. It's close between him and Mata. I think Mata's played very, very well, but I'd say Delo. For a 20-year-old kid to be coming and doing this against any team, the way he's played is very impressive.
Curtis 15, if you think I'm watching the game, I'm actually reading your comments. And that eye line is the live comments and has been for the last however many minutes. So you're wrong. Jose in says Kef Hassan. Make sure we block him, please, Soph. He can go. I'm only joking. It's up to you, mate, if that's what you want to be. If you want to be a flip-flop, get him on. I'm just going to quickly pop to the toilet, actually, and leave you to it, Dan, for a minute, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure, that's fine, yeah.
Hopefully I won't miss a goal.
Nah. I'll check out some of the comments. A lot of people saying Delao should be man of the match. Delao or Rashford for man of the match. Got a super chat here from Shinji Kagawa. I think you got a game today, mate. For Dortmund. You're a ledge. Love the work you do, Mark. And we have less Jose bashing for December. United have lost 9 games in the Prem. Lukaku and Pogba started 7 with Rashford and Mata only 3. Lukaku and Pogba, true problem and could F off. Thanks for the contribution, Shinji. Is Martial on the bench? Hex core? No, he is not in the squad today. He was carrying an injury. Is this result just papering over the cracks against Sadie Bear? I think so. You're playing bottom of the league. Alessandro Lelli, are you American? Yes, sir. I am New York. New York. I hope Jose doesn't get any money in January. I agree with you, Don Roberto. I don't think he should either. And we've just given up a penalty as we are saying this here. Herrera has just given away a penalty, so the clean sheet is definitely in doubt now. So let's see. There's a little 1-2. And Kamara on the ball here. Herrera's gone to tackle it. Hey, he's taking the ball off the defender. That's poor. That's never a penalty. I'm sorry.
Well, we got a penalty, have we?
We've given away a penalty.
Oh, right, okay.
Herrera, never a penalty for me. He's actually come and taken the ball off the forward and went off the forward's leg. But he's taken the penalty here, and he scores it. So 3-1 now. Clean sheets gone.
That's a shame. Shinji Kagawa says, you're a ledge. Love the work you do. Can we have less Jose bashing for December? United have lost 9 games in the Premier League. Lukaku and Pogba started 7 with Rashi and Matt already 3. Lukaku and Pogba are the true problem and can F off. Thanks for the contribution, pal. Look, it's all about opinion. Funnily enough, I'd already said today that I felt that, even myself, I was coming a little bit tired of the negativity. The club, it's not even Mourinho's fault anymore for me, Dan. It's the club's fault. I think he should have been sacked before now. And whatever you think about Mourinho, he can't sack himself. He'd be foolish to walk away from a £20 million payout. And this club is run by business people. And he should have been sacked by now, but he hasn't been. And we're just going to have to get on with what goes on. But not a penalty, says a lot of people.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, not to cut you off, but Fulham's just had a player sent off here. It's a second yellow for Nguisa Kamara, and pretty bad tackle on Rashford, to be honest with you. But he was already on a yellow. He got a second yellow. So now, being that the clean sheet's gone, now we really got to start putting in a couple more goals.
Well, that's good for United, yes.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, being that the player was already on a yellow, it's definitely yellow. Would never been a straight red.
Got loads to update.
Definitely a second yellow for him. Yeah, but unfortunate about the penalty too, because when you watch it back, Mark, he got actually watching the replay back on that one. He's got the ball off of Rashford, but he's also gone through him a little bit. And it was a little high. I think that's where the card came in. But the penalty, when you watch it back, you'll see Herrera gets the ball. And he clips it off of the attacker. And so unfortunate that we gave away that penalty. But now you got to go on and smash him. 20 minutes to get 2-3 more goals.
I mean, 3-1 is probably squeaky bum time. Then they go and get a man sent off. So again, Mourinho today is probably getting all his Christmas presents at once, really, because comfortable penalty, but then they've had a man sent off, which sort of undermines anything they're going to try and do in this game now.
Yeah. But, just one of those things. Unfortunate that we gave away the PK, but
Well, some people are saying it's never a red, and some
men.
people are saying it was never a penalty. So it sort of evened itself out. What do you want? 3-1 and 10 men, or 3-0 and 11 men? You know, it's sort of evened itself out for United, for Fulham there.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, it wasn't a straight red; it was a second yellow, which maybe even a yellow is a little bit harsh. But he did go through the player after getting the ball. I think it was just the way that Rashford fell over. He kind of went over the top of him. They were doing a little WWF, a little Hulk Hogan action.
Well, interestingly enough, it's still 0-0 Arsenal Huddersfield, which is now becoming more and more interesting, because that would be massive for United if Arsenal were to drop 2 points, because we should have been trying to beat them ourselves on Wednesday
Holy
night.
Smokes! There's a Fred sighting, Mark.
Realistically, Fred's coming on. Bloody hell!
Fred's getting stripped.
That's good. Be for Lingard, I would imagine.
Well, I was going to say, do you think he'll take off a guy like Matic to give him a little bit of a rest for the Liverpool game?
Well, Mata always comes off around 70 minutes, doesn't he?
Yeah. Fulham with another shot there. Lucas Vieto, a little pop on goal.
See, I was glad he didn't start, because I like him. I like Vieto, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, he's a good player. He actually played very well last year when he was on Valencia.
Yeah.
Good player.
Well, United probably just need a bit of a Fred coming on. I mean, again, it answers that Pogba question, doesn't it? Because we do need a little bit of energy in the midfield just to grab hold of this game again. We're playing against 10 men now. Unfortunately, United still need to solve that problem of playing for two halves by the sounds of it, Dan.
Yeah, that was my worry too. Going in at 3-0, are we just going to try to see the game out and win 3-0? Or are we going to try to go for the jugular and get 4 or 5 goals, 6 goals? And it looks like at the start we were just trying to see the game out, but now with going against 10 men and the clean sheet gone, probably should just be going for as many as we can get. But yeah, definitely a great first half performance. Second half's been poor.
You're not going to be able to current Baron Mishra because you've been blocked, you shit house. Yes, this has definitely dropped off a little bit, says K.A. Who got the red card for Fulham?
So it was
Kamara, is it?
Anguissa.
Anguissa, that was it.
Yeah, Anguissa, yeah. So I got a second yellow. They're just showing it back just now. They're tough. I think he got the ball, but he also went in pretty high on the player. That's what caused Rashford to go up like that. So, and Serge actually just got a booking for slowing down Lukaku, who might have been away on a breakaway. So, and here comes Fred, and Fred's coming on for Jesse.
Well, it's nice to see that Mata's staying on.
Yeah, nice to see Fred coming on.
Very nice to see Fred coming on. It just shows you, though, the haphazard approach to our season, doesn't it? Because Fred's not had any game time this season, and Pogba's always been playing, and now Pogba can't get on the team, and Fred comes in. We just never know what his 11's going to be and what his trainer thought. I mean, Valencia was his captain. He absolutely bloody loved Valencia. Valencia likes a post on Instagram that he probably couldn't understand because he can't understand English, and can't get in the bloody team now. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Hasn't played a game since. Also, too, I've been noticing Delo's in the second half, his passing's been a little wayward, not as crisp as it was in the first half. Still playing well, but I just don't know if he's ready, for the full, 90 minutes back to back after just playing against Arsenal a couple days ago. So.
It's petering out a little bit, isn't it, now? There's no way Fulham can get back into this with 10 men. I mean, a lot of people in the live comments are saying Rashford dived and, he's done us a favour there because it wasn't a second yellow.
I don't know so much as dive. There was definitely contact. A lot of contact, but it just wasn't in the type of contact that you'd associate with a challenge. It was more like just coming together with two players. Really couldn't get out of each other's way, so...
In fairness to United as well, just saying, Dan, in fairness to United, I've seen countless games throughout my lifetime, and this happens a lot. You're 3-0 at half time, the game's won. You're not. The only time I can think of a team, I think it was Arsenal 4-0 up against Newcastle, and it went to 4-4 a few years ago. But, the game's won, and a lot of teams, when they're 3-0 up at half-time, you think, we're going to win 6 or 7, then it ends up being 3 or 4-0 because it's hard for teams to keep that momentum going. So I will defend United in that sense and say that, they wouldn't be the first team in the world to have the game won in the first half and not really kick on in the second half.
Yeah, no, definitely a lot of truth in that, but like we were saying, this is the perfect game to go and get more than what you have.
Especially with our goal difference. It's only gone up by 2 now, hasn't it? I mean, when realistically we could have really kicked on and maybe got 4 or 5. Now the goal difference is just 2.
Yeah.
But I suppose at the end of the day, most people like myself would just say, let's just win. To be honest, goal difference would have been a nice bonus.
Yeah, especially playing the last 25 minutes. I played the last 25 minutes with against 10 men. I think since that's happened, I don't think we've had a shot yet. Also, it would be nice to put a little gloss on the scoreline. Arsenal still 0-0 with Huddersfield.
That is very interesting, I think, if that stays like that. I mean, Arsenal are a very good second-half team, though, so I think a lot of people are a little bit reluctant to go too much, but there you go.
Got Ashley Young with it on the left. Yeah, we're kind of just looking like we're just passing it around, really. Not trying to break any lines. It's a little bit unfortunate to see, but Fred here with it, trying to go forward. He's got Lukaku. Lukaku doing good work with the ball. Looks like he almost fell over himself there, and Young with a poor pass. But yeah, so there's one substitution left to be had. I don't think it's going to be Pogba. So.
Well, it's like you said, it's McTominay's birthday, isn't it? So.
Yeah, put him up front. Young with it. Fred with a good pass out here to Rashford. Herrera taking it down well. Couldn't get the ball out of his feet. Sessegnon's done good work there. And Rojo with a very good tackle. Miss Rojo in this team, I tell you.
Yeah, I like Rojo.
Yeah.
He gives that, is that aggression, isn't he, that, I think most fans of any club like to have in the team.
Yeah. Palace just got a goal back, so it's 3-2 between them and West Ham. Kind of just passing it around. Matic playing as an auxiliary center back, your favorite. Delo skipped away from his man. Oh my God. Oh, he just crossed it in. And I can't tell here if Lukaku's just missed it altogether or if it was a little bit behind him. It's come out to Rashford, and he's kicked it over the bar. Let's see. They're showing the replay now. So Delo gets it. Great control. Skips past his man. Has all the time to cross it in.
Well, there's a few Lukaku oh my gods in the comments, so maybe it's...
I think he's just missed it. But I actually think he overran the cross. Like he went in too far. He went in too close to the goalie.
Putting himself in the goal instead of the ball.
Yeah. You think Bay comes back into the team for Liverpool?
I don't know. You never know with Jose, does he? Because he just does. He's one of the few people on the planet who rates Phil Jones. So, and he certainly will play Smalling if he's fit. If Smalling's fit, I suppose that's the interesting thing. I think Eric Bay is our best centre back, so I would play him. But a lot will depend who plays against Valencia. I think the Valencia team is going to be the reserves. So if
Rashford in here. Good save. A horrible finish.
I think he deserves a goal, but
yeah, he did. Yeah, but he kicked it right at him. He actually did very, very well. He skipped into the box, passed. So he gets the ball here. He skips past one defender, holds the ball well, cuts it back, takes two guys out of the play, and the finish is just weak, just right into the keeper's hands. Could have put it either side of him, really. And he actually held on well, the keeper, because Mata was there for a rebound. But, yeah, really, really would like a goal from him. He's deserved one. He's played very well.
What was I going to say? A lot of people saying that's Rashford's problem. It's the finishing. Yeah, but I don't really like Rashford on the left wing. I think I want to see him up front. Be interesting to see. I think more interestingly, Dan and everybody, is Martial when he's fit has to play. So he has to play against Liverpool. How do you drop Rashford? You don't. You drop Lukaku, surely.
No, I think you drop Lukaku. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he won't do, especially because he scored a goal today.
I'd have scored that goal though. This is the thing, isn't it?
I think we all would have, but
Arsenal still drawing.
Maybe you put Rashford on the right. Yeah, maybe you put Rashford on the right for Mata. So I just don't think that game. I don't think that game the way Jose wants to play it anyway. Hold on, Lukaku in here. He's kicked it right at the keeper too. Here's another guy. Can't finish. And goes out for a throw-in. Yeah, we should have 4 or 5 goals.
Well, we're against 10 men now. We should be boosting our goal difference here at home. I know it's been a good first half, but the second half hasn't really. You could argue that up until the sending off, Fulham were the better team, and obviously they're going to be very tired now with 10 minutes, 10 to go.
Yeah, we were just saying there about the game next week. I just don't see Mata starting that type of game the way Jose wants to play it with guys that are going to be,
Yeah, we'll probably.
Rashford gets his goal, baby.
Yay! 4.
Oh yeah.
Come on, let's get in there.
I'll tell you what, keeper probably could have done better, but he just absolutely blasted one. And I don't think the keeper was expecting it to have that sort of pace on it, and I don't think he was expecting it to come in to the near post either, because he actually he got hands to it, and it's gone into the back of the net. But it just beat him. The pace of it just beat him.
You've got to be. You've got to get a goal when you're down to 10 men.
Yeah, it's from such a funny angle too. He's actually outside the 18, but on the left-hand side, kind of similar to where Young scored his goal from. But he's outside of the area, and he's just blasted it. And yeah, keeper just couldn't do anything but put it into the back of his net. But a goal and 2 assists for Rashford today. So
I wish I actually had highlighted this in my preview that Fulham's goalkeeper is absolutely shit, because he is. And there's a lot of people in the live comments saying it as well. He shouldn't be beaten from that sort of distance. But I think
this is sad, because now they're taking Rashford off and they're bringing on McTominay for Rashford.
What's his birthday?
This is the shit that'll. I know, but this is the shit that'll just damper the whole victory. You're taking off a forward for a midfielder. You can't give Matic 8 minutes of rest. Sickening. That annoys me, Dad. I'll tell you right now. That annoys me. Guy's got a goal and 2 assists. Just blasted one in from 20 yards out. A very tough angle to score from, and you replace him with a midfielder, and they're putting McTominay at left wing.
Yay! Well, it's his birthday, isn't it? You get on the pitch for your birthday. This is Jose, though, isn't it? He does these sort of things when he does get a good result. Oh
my God! So,
go on.
Fred's in here. He's got the lot. Another good cross. McTominay for a header on his birthday. It's right at the keeper. I tell you what, he should have scored.
But the goals are there. Fulham have just capitulated, haven't they? Which they're going to do.
The Lowe's crossing is unbelievable.
Has Rashford done anything to nick man of the match from Delo, or is it still Delo for you?
Nah, I'd say probably Rashford now, especially with the goal. 2 assists and a goal. I'd say he'd probably be my first choice for man of the match. Delo would be second, and then Matt's a third. But in these dying stages, if Delo can manage to get himself a goal, it would be a good shout. But yeah, you got McTominay playing left wing. I can't. It's actually pretty laughable. He's got no pace.
I suppose when you're 4-1 up, it's hard to be negative. Although realism is always welcome.
No, of course. Yeah, of course. Arsenal still 0-0.
That's the one.
Yeah, you got a couple of people with the fake scores saying 1-0 Arsenal unless they just scored and the score hasn't changed yet. But from where I'm looking at it, it's still saying 0-0. A couple of people saying 1 goal up. A few people saying it now. But I'm still seeing 0-0. So let me have a look and see.
No, they have scored. Torreira. So that for United, I mean that would have been massive for United, to be fair.
Yeah.
Disappointing that, but that's the problem, isn't it, Dan? You know, we can want performance, we can want results to go our way, but effectively, when you're hoping Huddersfield are going to hold Arsenal to a point at home, this is where we've gone wrong. We've dropped too many points. Where those teams above us won't. I've said this before, they're relentless. The Arsenals, the Chelseas, the Spurs. I'm not going to mention Liverpool and City because they're not in our level. But the Arsenals and the Chelseas and the Spurs, they are relentless, and they're not going to drop those points that we did to West Ham and Palace at home. And, you know, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be an absolute miracle, I think, in some ways, for us to get top 4.
Yeah, no, agreed. You know, that's the thing. You can't be disappointed that they're gonna go on and beat Huddersfield, because if the score was 3-0 at halftime in their game, you know, no one would be surprised. So it's just the later it goes on, you know, you just hope that they could drop the points, and then, but can only beat what's in front of you, you know.
Yeah, and they're a good second half team.
5 minutes. Yeah, about 5 minutes left on the clock here, with stoppage included. It just got into the 88th minute, so probably not too much going to be added on. Wasn't any injuries.
I think it's
been relative.
Go on.
I was going to say Sessegnon's been relatively quiet for a very good young player, and I think that's got a lot to do with how well Delo's played, because he's man-marked him the entire game.
And let's be honest, Fulham are crap. You know, they are not a good team. To be honest with you, I think the keeper is probably questionable for. Trying to think of the goals. Lukaku's goal, probably couldn't do anything about that. Mata's goal, I think maybe he could have done something like that. Young's probably not. Rashford, I don't think should be scoring from where he did. But I think all in all, Fulham are going to be fighting relegation unless Ranieri can get some decent players in January, because they look like a championship side.
Yeah, they do. I'd say Seri apart. Seri, Sessegnon apart. Schürrle's hit or miss. Mitrovic could be good if he had better service, but there's just not too much talent. But Fred's actually played all right since he's come on. I know it's the game's pretty much over, but he's actually passed the ball very well, moving around well, doing a lot of telling his teammates where to be, which is a good sign.
No Pogba, which is interesting. I'm going to talk about that in my match reaction, actually. Very interesting.
I just had a feeling at halftime I didn't think he was going to be used at all. Just had that funny feeling. So, which tells me that he really there's no he'll always say in the media, especially, there's no falling out with Pogba, and it's all a misunderstanding, and you guys want to say that he's the enemy and blah blah blah. Showing Pogba now,
he's elongated that, hasn't he?
But yeah. Right. Yeah, he's done the same. He's done the same with Hazard. The only difference was when he put Hazard on the bench, he was sacked not too long after. Just can you imagine sitting out the rest of the season with Pogba getting maybe 5-10 games from here till May?
Well, Pogba wants out of United, isn't it? I mean, reality is it doesn't matter what you think about Paul Pogba. You can't have a player of that quality sitting on your bench. You literally cannot.
Yeah. I just think it would be very hard to sell him if they do want to sell him, or Mourinho, which he does, in January. I think that's almost an impossibility.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, picture him on your bench from now until the end of the season, but getting the odd game here and there. The most expensive midfielder in the world.
Yeah.
Not great.
It's an I'll talk about it in the match reaction. I think it's an interesting one. I'm interested when we're doing the call in after my match reaction as well. So some of you might want to pick up and give it your thoughts, certainly in relation to the game itself. But the Pogba situation is an interesting one. I mean, why would I know it's his birthday, but did we play players because it's their birthday now, or is that really the way that we do it, or should you be getting Paul Pogba on the pitch? I personally think solve the Paul Pogba problem instead of giving your son a run out on his birthday. But it's
just into stoppage time here.
How many minutes we got?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
3.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Dan. Anyway, really appreciated it, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So you're winning. Your unbeaten run continues. We've certainly never lost when you've been doing these watch-alongs with us.
No, we sure as hell ain't, and we always have some sort of talking points when I come on. Fred's here, skipping by a few. He's just backheeled to nobody. We always put in a decent attacking display when I'm on the call in. But it was all about the 3 points today. Tough. Tell you what, if they wouldn't have got the 3 points today against Fulham, you'd probably have to say that should be a wrap. But
I don't think it would have been, though. I said that before. And old Brownie says Seri hasn't been good all season. He's not Premier League quality. It's funny, the 3 players I really had an eye on in the summer were Keita, Fred and Seri. And none of them have actually hit the heights yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say at the beginning of the year, the first handful of games for Fulham, he was great, Seri, and the whole team's kind of just dropped off. But it's interesting. We'll see what happens against Liverpool, because they just spanked Bournemouth today, and then they're going to be home next week against us. So
the thing is, if we lose to Liverpool, I'll say it now, he won't be sacked. There'll just be an acceptance in the club. They're better than us. That's not our level, which it makes me sick. But that's pretty much what will happen.
What would you say? What would you say if we go out there and we get absolutely obliterated, a 4-0?
I'd say what I'm still saying now. I'd still sack the manager. I mean, beating Fulham doesn't make any difference to me. But
no, I'm saying, what do you think the fans would say about that? Not really, because I know, let's say we go there and it's a 1-0 or a 2-1.
I think
there might be an acceptance that they're better than us. But yeah,
I think there is apathy in the fan base.
No, I agree with you. Hold on, Lukaku's on in here. It's fallen to Lukaku. We can't, get it out. He can't get it out of the Timberlands. And,
still going on, are we?
Is offside. Yeah, it's just about to wrap up. I just think if they go out there, and they have, final whistle. That's it, 4-1.
Well, thanks for coming on, Dan. Really, really appreciate it. As I say, the winning continues under Dan. I think we drew 1, but we won the rest. A lot of late goals and a good performance today. But cheers for coming on, pal, and I shall speak to you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Everybody like, subscribe, follow. Get your notification bell ringing when the videos come up. You're going to have to call in the match reaction and all that good stuff. Thanks for having me on again, and hope Marcus gets better with his chicken pox. And his daughter, too.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day, pal. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. You too. Take care.
Take care, mate. And thanks everybody who's been watching the watch along as well with us. Really enjoyed that. I'm going to do my match reaction now. The link is in the video description. It is. Or you can go through the homepage. We'll be talking about the game, and then after that we're going to do the call in as usual. So thanks everybody for that. And I think have Arsenal looked like they've won as well. But there you go. Mourinho in, everybody. Join me on the match reaction. Link in the video description. We'll be talking about that, and then we'll be taking your calls as well. I shall see you in 30 seconds on the match reaction. See you in a minute.